stay closed.
And it's that moment of letting it sink in. Clara Evans is today's biggest win of a road victory, and what a manner to do it in. And here Mosley Cannondale in their Giro kit take the stage win, but that was, again, we saw it, she was just metronomic in her climbing style on that final climb.
She was. She stayed in more ways than one. Really, really cool under pressure today. That's what it takes to take a victory of this scale, and for her to do it now at this Giro was truly, truly special for her as an individual, for the whole team. She, just as I said a few times, kept believing. She knew the gap had that potential to start really coming down when the team got organised behind, the group got organised behind. But she didn't waver. She was absolutely rock solid on the bike, and I think the consistency, the power she consistently kept putting through those pedals, it was really, really joyful to watch, and I am equally joyful to see her celebrate in this moment.
Yeah, third stage win we can find for Canada. What a day, we get to say it again, a first Giro stage win. This time it's for Clara Emmond of Canada and Iafoli Cannondale. Soraya Paladin takes second for Canyon Tramp. Cecily Utrup-Ludwig there at 20 seconds. Chabet Lecourt, Borghese, Eric, and then Longo Borghini leading in that group behind. Like to play host to one of the most perfectly poised short track races of the season so far. Vidari, Frido, Colombo, Blevins, they're all in contention for this one. You know the drill by now. It's green for go here in Leger, and who's going to get away fastest? Vidari starts well, as does Sportsbar down the middle in the purple and white of Canyon Collective. Start as well, I think that Colombo just off the back. Yep, something's gone on down the back. Colombo there, the bottom of your screen, the black and white kit trying to make his way forward again, but meanwhile at the front is Schwarzbauer and Vidari alongside Haverly. Aldridge to the front as well in the red, white and blue of the Britain national jersey. Alongside him, UCI world champion Sam Gayes, as you'd expect, right at the front of this one. The white helmet, the white gloves. The New Zealander means business. That knee injury seems to have been put behind him. So stymieing his progress in Con Montana last time out, but this place, it should suit Gayes today.
Yeah, and Gayes winner here of the Worlds back in 22. But it was Colombo. It was actually Frischknecht.
It was Frischknecht, apologies, yeah. We caught a glimpse of the wrong Scott SRAM MTV rider. There he is, Andrew Frischknecht. Just still fiddling with his shoes and maybe unclipped. Son of team manager and Swiss legend, Thomas Frischknecht.
Alan happily fifth place and he got off the line well.
Schwarzbauer leads him then it's Vidari, then it's Charlie Aldridge, Sam Gayes in close contention. Oh, and it's a stumble. And look at the ripple effect that has just through the pack.
It's so important on these switchbacks that the riders just stall a little bit on the corners, and once you get back out of that kind of like top 10 position, the chance of having additional problems goes through the roof. So these favourites are going to try and keep themselves in that front group all day.
Vidari and Blevins towards the front. There's Lars Forster just taking a wider entry into that first rock section. Then Flukiger and the BMC pairing.
And Richer as well, great short track rider, 6th, 7th at the moment, good start for him.
Yeah, Litcher, really, really impressive this season so far, but Schwarzbauer doing what Schwarzbauer does, leading them across the line at an incredible clip.
We've got this more technical rock garden this year before this start-finish straight. What that does is it just leaves a small gap between each rider, so the riders are all stretched out and it's not going to be a bunch race tonight for sure.
Much higher pace than we've seen from this evening's racing so far in the elite men's race. Looking like they were going to stretch each other out, but Schwarzbauer being marked every inch off the way by Vidari and Co.
It's a tough climb, this first one. You hit it with a bit of speed and momentum, so you get to the feed zones on like say the speed from the start-finish streak, but then it comes down to the legs and it's a real grind up to the left turn.
There's Sam Gaze has had a big moment somewhere out on course, crashed on the grass. Dead last for now. Josh Carlson reporting in from the course. So it's Schwarzbauer from Litcher, Haverly, Aldridge. Your top four, they're all very much together in this front group. However, there's Vidari in fifth, Forster in sixth, Colombo's in seventh as well, then Blevins. They're all right in the mix, apart from Sam Gaze, who has been down and is right at the back of the pack, Ollie.
And Schwarzbauer doing what he does best. He wants to control it on the climb, and then on the downhill he just gets this bit of time to recover. He's where he needs to be, so he don't have some force to pace, and he just basically just bolts the riders back up behind him, and then he'll accelerate again now into these switchbacks.
Yep, an absolute juggernaut off a rider. Very, very difficult to pass Lucas Schwarzbauer. Fantastic at bike positioning.
A bit further back, looking at 18th at the moment. So not getting the best of starts. This is his first short track in a while, so a bit rusty in this discipline.
These switchback turns on the grass, really, really steep. That shot doesn't do them justice. And slippery as well, but at the front, Schwarzbauer, Litcher, Vidari, then Aldridge.
That's a great position for Schwarzbauer as well. He just comes into these rocks now. He's got clear vision through them as well. And but he has a problem. He holds everybody up.
Yeah, Litcher out-sprinted Tom Pidcock. There's not many cyclists can say that. And Nova Mersa Memorable earlier in the year.
Here we go, then Schwarzbauer now. He knows that rock garden's caused some gaps, so it's time to put the power on. Get him an aero position.
Maybe, just maybe, he's wondering where Sam Gaze is. We've seen those two help each other out in previous short track races this season.
Big rivals, but also a lot of respect for each other as well. But yeah, if you saw Gaze not in that front group.
Charlie Aldridge looking like he's going to have a go at Schwarzbauer at the front. The right-hand side, the rider's right, the white jersey, the red, white and blue bands, the British national champion.
Haverly as well, just moving on that climb on the outside as well. No one wants to really take it on this section.
Let's have 178 beats per minute from Aldridge. Look at the breakdown, 90 to 100%, zone 5.
Look at that gap, someone would have just had a small wobble through the rock garden, gap appears, Schwarzbauer puts on the front, and then all of a sudden those riders behind have got to close quite a big gap.
Litcher still pinned to the back wheel of Lucas Schwarzbauer in the red jersey of the Swiss national champion. Schwarzbauer really, really excited to head to the Paris 2024 Games alongside Julian Schell, his good friend, and they've been racing together over 11 years now.
Dresden as well, 7th at the moment for the Cannondale rider.
There is Schell just through your picture now in the purple and black jersey. Aldridge looks around behind him. You'll see Alan Haverly on that number 1 bike, his teammate, right with him, the South African.
Looking there as well now, 17th, so you see the rear wheels just slipping out on those bends as well. They've got to be so careful how they apply the power through that slippery corners.
Haverly, former short track overall title holder, told us earlier in the week that he really likes this course. He doesn't like the ones that, you know, they're a bit more straightforward. The pack tends to stay together. He likes it when things get strung out, a bit more technical.
Yeah, I think it's safer for the overall, well, you know, the big overall guys to have a harder circuit like this one. It's more of a line out where you get Nova Mesto or Nevada Soleil, it becomes more of a group race, and because with that comes quite a lot of danger.
See Lars Forster taking that wide entry. Put in Matthias Flukiger under pressure, his teammate. Schwarzbauer leads him across the line. Just sits up, has a look around. Litcher shrugs his shoulders. Not going to work too hard.
It's just allowing Blevins to get back on as well.
Yeah, Blevins in the Stars and Stripes FDS national champion. Filippo Colombo on the number 2 bike is in the mix too. Haverly now. Haverly second wheel. Schwarzbauer attacks up the climb. Lifts the pace.
Schwarzbauer really likes getting into this descent first, and then he can just get that bit of recovery. He prefer to have this sort of on and off effort, so he does a big push, then a recovery, almost like a set of intervals, whereas another like Haverly just wants it continually hard.
And if they're still together at the front of this one, Schwarzbauer leading the way.
People are pretty careful not to, I mean, they would have seen the women's race and had feedback from the women's race. Puck Peters went too hard too early on this climb and gassed herself.
Flukiger just going for your shot down the red jersey and the red helmet, heading towards the front as well. So this one perfectly poised on lap 4 out of 10. Litcher still stretching the neck out.
Troy Mont there, the Belgian champion on Giant as well, just coming through. Good short track rider.
There's Gies, the UCI World Champion, working his way back through.
Yeah, he's recovering well at the moment.
And sometimes, as we've seen in the past, a little bit of anger can just make the difference with Sam Gies. He'll be frustrated with that, Ollie.
Yeah, but it's going to be a real task to get back to this front group. Gaze, two-time world champion in short tracks. You know, he's got the minerals, but you know, there's other minerals and there's riding from the back to the front. But we saw Peacock do it in the last round, you know, amazingly. So it can be done.
And you can see just a little ripple effect there, slowing them down in the corner, but Schwarzbauer still in control of the outside lane on the motorway.
Rider as well, third in the last round.
Litcher in second place is looking really good here, you know.
Such a great tactical short track rider. He rarely puts his nose in the wind, but he can just sit there. I mean, ideally you want to be floating there about 5th, 6th place all round, and then in the last 2 laps you can finish.
So as they cross the line in front of our commentary booth, it's Schwarzbauer. From Litcher, from Haverly, from Vidari, from Aldridge, Colombo, Blevins, Alban, Andreasen and Zanotti make up the top 10.
Vidari as well, doing a really good race this evening, just sitting there, just floating around in 3rd, 4th position.
It's the best we've seen of Vidari, really, since that podium. Here's a comparison graphic then, the heart rate zones.
No surprise, Blevins and Aldridge both up in over that 90% heart rate.
Yeah, 189 beats per minute for Christopher Blevins. Nothing mine goes that fast.
On this circuit, bit of altitude, some heat.
Blevins just cresting 188 beats per minute there.
You see he's at his maximum, he's just swinging off the back of this group. Colombo just coming round him.
Blevins, though, another, we talked about Haverly and Litcher, a very clever short track racer, and we'll know that just getting back on the back of this pack, and you've got a couple of laps, halfway point now, just sit in a wee bit, if possible, micro recovery, get yourself back to the front. Schwarzbauer.
Colombo was second in there when we rode the Worlds in 22, so he's got 4.
Yeah, boxed out by Gies in that final corner as well.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we don't give Filippo Colombo the kind of short track kudos he deserves. You know, he's coming back from a bit of injury and probably finding a bit of speed again at this style of race.
Yeah. So Matthias Flukiger 14th currently. There is Sam Gies. So Sam Gies currently 20th, inside the top 20 for Gies.
They're on the comeback, and it only requires this front group just to basically, you have a little lull sometimes, just look at each other, and before you know it, he'll be back into that kind of second pack.
So Sam Gies has worked his way past 18 riders already. He's still got half the race to play with.
Schwarzbauer is the best short track I think we've seen him so far this evening. This was his characteristics from last year where he won 3 races. He would just control the race for the front.
Such an honest character on and off the bike. He's admitted it. He is frustrated. He doesn't know what the missing part of that form is. Just signals that someone else can have a go now if they want. And it's Litcher to the front then, out of the saddle on number 16, Lapierre.
Yeah, Schwarzbauer knows the gaps there. He's just frustrated with the other riders who don't want to get involved as well and just keep these riders back.
Luca Braido, 8th place now. Head of the chasing group. There is Sam Gies. Sam Gies crosses the line, 19th. Found another spot.
I think he'll be back up to that big second group. Yeah, I think by the top of this climb we'll see Gaze just onto the back of the big second group. It'll be interesting if these groups come back together by the time we get to like lap 7 or 8.
And if this group at the front continues to look at each other and, you know, refuse to share the work around, then Sam Gies could come right back into the mix here towards Dying Stage. This one, there he is in the centre of your screen now in the white jersey with the rainbow stripes, Sam Gies.
Big second group just splitting on the climb. Gaze working his way up through now, just on the back of that top 10.
16th now for Gies. Still Litcher leads them. Litcher from Schwarzbauer. Alan Haverly likes the heat. It's plenty hot out there at the minute.
He's looking up to kind of 14th, I think now. There he is, just in the background.
There's the UCI World Champion for Appleton de Koenig. Sam Gies. If he could get his third short track win of the year today, what a ride. That'll be a ride for the history books, that one.
I think he'll just be chuffed to get back into a good position for a good for Sunday. the race when it's running this intensity to get back from the front. Like I said, we saw Pidcock do on the circuit last week, but that had a really big climb in it and suited his strengths.
Schwarzbauer back at the front, just hopped the front wheel around that left-hand turn there. Litcher, again though, only looking really strong.
Yeah, he likes that second position. That's the perfect place to be in a race like this. He gets a nice slipstream, doesn't have to take it on through the start-finish straight.
And a bit like with Alessandra Keller in the elite women's race, if there's one rider you're going to anchor yourself to the back of. Lucas Schwarzbauer, not a bad bet.
Yeah, he's a good one to get with. He always rides a smart race. But I think Fadari's looking good at the moment. He's riding the cracker.
Yeah, Fadari, there he is, just going through your shot now in the Chilean national champions jersey. He won himself plenty of fans at the start of this year in Brazil. Martin Fadari, Cosman. There's Diaz puffing the cheeks. Back in the engine room once more.
We're just seeing that second group now just joining back onto the front ones.
14th for Diaz at the minute, so he is coming back towards the front of the race. Sam Diaz out there headhunting. Aldridge though.
It's Havili hitting the front.
Aldridge putting the brakes on Litcher for his teammate Havili out front. Alan Havili, Cannondale, Factory Racing have their eyes fixed on the team overall title this weekend in particular, don't they?
Big goal from all three riders. It's the best three overall, and at the moment all three riders are firing this evening.
Yeah, Cannondale back team have had the yellow jersey in the Tour de France already. The attention turns to mountain biking now. And it's currently their talismanic South African Alan Havili out front here in Leger.
Interesting to see Cannondale as well. They got two in that front five with Havili and Aldridge, and whether there'll be a bit of team tactics to play. And you couldn't play on this course if you came into that rock garden. One just pushed the pressure on, and one didn't necessarily stop, but just didn't attack it as such. You could just get a good gap.
Havili lifting the pace on that number one bike. Leads the way in the overall. Leads the way today in Leger.
Charlie Aldridge, the British champ, so strong in the short track, but so far this season, kind of not quite pulling it all together, the wrong place at the wrong time.
There's Sam Diaz. Diaz in 13th. And it can make a big difference to any racer, Ollie, that number one plate.
Not 100%. And a lot of these riders, the strength from depth is so deep that they ride on this. The confidence can be the difference between a podium and a first place. And we see that Schwarzbauer this year, he needs to get that confidence back that he can win one of these.
Right, it was going well there, you know, for Santa Cruz, RockShox Pro Team in the blue and pink. The Italian, currently in 6th place, still at the sharp end of this one.
Yeah, he was responsible for that second group getting dragged back towards the front and didn't quite make it, so he's had to do a lot of work, but he's got Cannondale and Andreasen on the back wheel.
Andreasen with the number 13 on upside down. Old school. Blevins with him in the stars and stripes. The pace is left to note. Haverly asking questions now of Schwarzbauer.
This is a full attack by Havili now on this climb. We saw him last time with a little test, but this is 100% now.
He's got his tail gunner, Aldridge. There he is, Aldridge versus Blevins, 184 place, 186. Look again, really the 90 to 100% zone for the vast majority of this one.
Schwarzbauer, the German short track specialist, 3 wins from last year. Haven't opened his account yet so far, but he's the one that managed to cover Havili.
I wonder if he could just cover off a few more of these attacks. Try and rally towards the end. Lap 8 out of 10 here. Haute Savoie and Leger. Litcher just getting shuffled back now slightly. He's been second wheel for most of the race, but he's back behind Filippo Colombo now, so wonder if Thomas Litcher is in trouble.
And that push from Havili as well, just seeing Fadari getting dropped off the back.
Behind this group that we're looking at currently, Sam Diaz is up inside the top 10 in 10th place.
Wow, what a ride.
If he can get another couple of riders, that will get him onto the front row come Sunday.
Charlie Aldridge, the big Brit as well. National champion just sitting there. Again, he hasn't put his nose in the wind so far. Romeo Faso just kind of shadowing.
Big day. The other side of town, downhill. Qualifying semi-finals, ready for tomorrow's elite finals, but the first big show on the roster was this one. And what an evening of short track racing we're having here in the Haute Savoie. Haverly just looks round.
Yeah, so there's no benefit of pushing through this section, these riders. On the climb there's an advantage, you can hurt the competitors, and Aldridge is looking at it. I think he just needs to keep patient.
Can Aldridge put the hurt on the Lucas Schwarzbauer now? Cannondale going for the 1-2 punch. Haverly, Schwarzbauer, Aldridge, Colombo, Litcher. This group of five looking like it's going to be where the winner comes from.
Interesting to see now. I think Aldridge just got to be patient. You can see he's in good form this evening. He doesn't want to hit the first point so far.
Aldridge lifting the pace on Schwarzbauer. We need to get a whip band on Cannondale Factory Racing's Phil Dixon down there. See what his heart rate's doing at the minute.
The Cannondale as well. It's a big advantage having two riders in this front group. Aldridge and Haverly. They can do a bit of 1-2 on this last lap if they need to.
Schwarzbauer has the lead at the top of the climb then. The penultimate time. Here's a visual on that group. Sam Gay's up into 6th now, so he is the next rider behind this lead group. There he is in your shot now. What a ride this is from Sam Gay's. Dead last of a crash earlier on.
I think this front group as well, when they hit the start-finish straight, they're all going to look at each other. No one's going to want to take it on, and I think that's when we can see Gaze get back onto the back.
Yep. Wait for the body language as they come on the start-finish straight. As they head into this descent, and is this slowing off the pace? Just inviting the UCI World Champion back onto the front of the race.
The gap's coming back. Gaze is going to get back on this one, I'm pretty sure of it.
Sam Gaze has overtaken 32 riders. He's just got 5 more in front of him now. The 5 of the world's best, but that will matter to him.
You saw Lucas Schwarzbauer just look at his score on that switchback, and as he looked across, he just saw those World Championship stripes. And
yeah, it's on. If it wasn't already, the Jaws music is on for this front group. Sam Gaze is back with them. And now, what's the body language here, Ollie? What we see him?
There we go, to do is just push over the rock guard, and it's literally turned around, saw Gaze coming and decides, right, now's my time.
As they head on the last lap, then there is the UCI World Champion Sam Gaze for Alpecin. He's back with the front group. He crashed early on, stone last. He's made his way back to the front. It's Aldridge now. Aldridge attacks, and Haverly goes with him. His teammate Alan Haverly. 184 beats per minute, plays 183 for Aldridge and Gaze.
Ito yung gamit ko. Saan yung gamit ko yung tools?
The outside just going past Schwarzbauer and Colombo like they stood still.
The Cannondale Factory Racing pair duking it out at the front, but it's Charlie Aldridge who looks behind him. And Sam Gaze is up into 3rd at the end of that climb. He's with Aldridge. He's about to ride past him. Alan Haverly knows that he needs to get up the road. Alan Haverly in the number 1 bike for Cannondale Factory Racing, trying to get out of the grips of Sam Gaze. The UCI World Champion. Should he get a win here, it's going to be one of the most remarkable in the sport's history.
But Haverly, that gap's growing out as well. He's carrying good speed. And also as well, the Gaze has got Aldridge marking him.
Lucas Schwarzbauer has been a big player in this one. Meanwhile, out front, Alan Haverly going for his first short track victory since Petropolis a couple of years ago. Haverly has got Gaze locked on. Can he stay away from the New Zealander long enough to chalk his second short track win? You cannot take your eyes off this one. Sam Gaze, what a performance! But Alan Haverly has boxed so clever. And there, Haverly looks like he's got through the lock section cleanly. Alan Haverly is going to take the win in Ricochet. What a superb victory from Alan Haverly. Cannondale Factory Racing are about to go 1-2 in France. Charlie Aldridge, 2nd place. Behind them, Sam Gaze, Lucas Schwarzbauer. Absolutely scintillating stuff. Haverly from Aldridge, from Gaze, your top 3. Then it was Schwarzbauer, then Litcher. Cannondale Factory Racing celebrate together. Simon and Dressen got 7.
Yeah, all in the top 10. Unbelievable.
Yeah, you can forgive us. That was a busy one, but what a performance from that man.
Yeah, man of the match performance, I think, for Gaze.
Gaze taking the plaudits from Jenny Rispitz. Knows class when she sees it. Alan Haverly He's been a different Alan Haverley this weekend. The confidence is right up there. He's got the lead in the overall. And with form like that, he is going to keep it. Alan Haverley takes the victory in Leger, ahead of an absolutely superb performance from his teammate, Charlie Aldridge. Four seconds off the win from the South African national champion. Cannondale Factory Racing, pretty huge stock in the teams overall. First, second and seventh in the cross-country short track World Cup to kick things off here in Leger on Friday evening. Here's how he did it. It was eventful. He kept his cool. Schwarzbauer did so much work throughout the race. And then there were two at the front, Haverley and Aldridge. Haverley got away. Aldridge left on rear gunner duty to handle. An incredible ride from Sam Gaze, but Alan Haverley taking nothing away from him. A superb win. Back on the top step. The cross-country short track World Cup. And we're going to head down to him now.
Alan Haverley, I feel like that performance, that race has been coming for a minute now. What a performance. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just one of those days. Yeah, really unbelievable to win the game. It's been a while since I last won a short track in Brazil. Still on preparation for Olympics and throwing us in during the preparation. So I think a really positive sign to have legs like today, and really looking forward to Olympic distance on Sunday.
That was an extremely hard race. You're barely breathing. This has been in the tank for a while now. How good does this feel knowing how crucial this timing is with weeks to go?
Yeah, I mean, it's unreal. I think, like you said, it's been a long time coming, and just super happy that it played off today, and I just had the confidence, I guess, to kind of make it hard just before the last lap, just to take the edge off the guys, and then, yeah, I still had something in the tank to give it that final squeeze and take the win, so incredibly happy.
Your team's been growing from strength to strength this season, and your teammate, your brother from another mother, is in third.
Yeah, for sure. It was an unreal ride for the both of us. And Simon was also just there, so I mean, to have all three boys on the front row, I believe it's going to be a dream for Sunday. I'm just looking forward to that.
And a dream it was. Congratulations.
Cheers, thanks very much.
Great point from Haverley. Cannondale Factory Racing will dominate that front row come Sunday afternoon. Haverley then from Aldridge, Gaze, Schwarzbauer, Litcher in fifth. There's Colombo, Andres and Brido. Kaleli Staff, Vidari, Forster de Flamo, Alban, Zanotti. Keller locked in. The red and white jersey of the overall points leader in the middle of your screen. Watch her for a quick start. And green they go. And we are racing on a hectic weekend of mountain biking in Leger. Puck Peterson on the number 3 bike in the blue and white of Opus in the Kernick gets it well. Keller's on the right hand side of her. They're all the way cleanly.
Yeah, good starts as well for Risved's just on that right hand side as we head up a hill.
Lyra Steger, there's Risvitz in the dark blue and black on the right hand side. Steger through the middle in the red and white of the Austrian national champion.
Yeah, Severe Blunt as well, not the best of starts, just drifting back there, front row start, but probably about 12th or so at the moment.
And this climb really, a little bubble there. I think it was Chiara Tiocchi in the right hand side. Samara Waxwell in the black and white.
Ryder in great form at the moment, 10th in the last round, ex-CEO round.
Look at Chiara Tiocchi in the green of Arbea, storming around the outside of that climb.
It's so tough, this opening climb. You come up with a bit of speed from the start-finish straight, but quite quickly it starts to tax.
Risfitz alongside Puck Peterson now. And here comes Chiara Tiocchi. The Italian, she had a little setback on the way up that first climb, but she's definitely made up for it now as they head into this really sort of choppy traverse section.
Yeah, and it's this traverse section coming after these bends that you really want to be in a great position, because it's so tight and there's no, it's kind of almost a reverse camber, and the risk of losing the back wheel's quite high.
Keller going out wide there, down over the logs as they swing right. And oh, Keller just knocked off course. They're having to rejoin. So it's been an eventful first lap for the series overall leader.
And it's these bends here, like I say, they're super tight, they're steep. The risk of losing the rear tyre. Sometimes you see as well the riders that they're putting down the power, and then what they do is they end up just catching the inside pedal and it kind of high sides the bike.
So it's Tiocchi from Risfitz, from Peterson, from Indergam, from Steger, the top five as they stand, as they head down towards these treacherous, new sort of newly rejigged rock section. Ollie, we went and checked them out before the race, and no real right option here.
No, it is. I mean, last year you could kind of roll through them if you picked it up, but they've made it a lot harder. The A-line is actually pretty tough to ride, and if the margin for error between quite a big off is pretty extreme.
And it's this left-hander now that sets you up for the big set, flat corner, really, really awkward.
Yeah, it's a really tough thing to ride this. The A-line through the middle and the B-line just to see Richards just on the left side.
Keller taking the right-hand side, and now Henderson a little dip down before the start finish.
Henderson just bobbling a bit on those rocks. What that rocks do is it ends up making these gaps between the riders. So when they hit the start finish straight, there's gaps to close. You see Richards just trying to get back.
So it ends up Peterson, Chiara Tiocchi second place, Jenny Risfitz in third place, then it's Steger and Indergan in fifth. Puck Peterson though, Ollie, bit of an accident, bit of a crash in the last practice session. Doesn't seem to have slowed her down much.
No, we heard it was a proper over the bars job as well, so probably knocked the wind out of her a little bit, but made her tough stuff.
Definitely. The cyclocross phenomenon who came into mountain biking last season and really blew them all away, took both short track and cross country Olympic titles. Definitely one of the big favourites for Paris 2024, the Dutch woman who currently leads this race from Chiara Tiocchi in the green. Dark blue of the former Olympic champion Jenny Risfitz for Team 31 Ibis Cycles Continental on the left-hand side of the picture now. Joining them, Martina Berta in the blue and pink jersey of Santa Cruz Rockshaw's Pro Team now takes the lead.
Looking a bit further back, the rider wants to have a good short track for tomorrow for the XCCO on Sunday. Mona Mitovana back in 30th at the moment, so we want to improve a little bit on that.
Yeah, the top 8 from this race will determine the front row of that start grid for the cross-country Olympic, the longer distance race on Sunday. Plenty of racing to come there from the Jheski tomorrow, all downhill, but for now, elite level cross-country short track. Keller holding in onto the back wheel of Laura Steger in front of her. So Martina Berta then, the Italian for Santa Cruz, leads the way ahead of Puck Peterson, then Risfitz, then Tiocchi. Conditions pretty much perfect out there as well. A bit dusty, but this sort of grass section, any moisture at all on that, and those climbing sort of turn switchbacks come absolutely horrible, don't they?
Yeah, we saw us do it in the XCO races, under 23, there's a bit of early morning dew on this one, and this grass camber corners caused absolute chaos. And the risk they've got today has actually been so dry that it's almost dusty, and it's equally as slippery as when it's wet.
Steger in the left-hand side there on that green Specialized. The red and white jersey of the Austrian national champion goes straight down the middle through the big chunky rock section.
Richards just, as you come off that B-line, there's a big old rock that you've got to just put yourself over. It's just made a bit of a mess of it.
Peterson now motors her way to the front. Is this an attack from Puck Peterson? Jenny Risfitz heard the alarm bells ringing and is trying to respond. Berta as well has locked back onto the back wheel of Puck Peterson.
You see that Keller just as well, the gap was there, and you saw as he comes through our start finish, just kind of fully tucked down arrow position, head to the side, just trying to get back onto the wheel.
And we saw this from Puck Peterson the last round of Crom Montana, didn't we? She's got that ability and that depth of fitness to just attack again, and keep attacking and see who can stay with her.
And it's worked, winner of 2 rounds this year for Puck, and I think when she goes, and it's, I think this course as well, going from the front and being kind of attacking on the front foot is a really good move.
Peterson. The Alpecin de Koenig start. Not letting that crash earlier on this afternoon.
Yeah, and Keller recovering a little bit from that. She got back on, overtaken 2 riders, back onto 4th now, back in that line.
Great ride from Alexander Keller, getting past those two riders, putting herself right back in the mix in fourth wheel now, the series overall points leader. Here is the leader then on the number 3 Canyon bike. Buck Peterson, Martina Berta, Jenny Risford still with her. Steger just being dropped slightly now. Really nibbly little short track this, isn't it? Really good circuit.
It's really tough, really, really tough. And there's lots of things that can catch you out. And I say that new rock garden for this year, that's a tough section. Especially at this level when, you know, XCO, you're kind of just, you're working hard, but at this level you're working at your maximum. So dexterity and kind of the breathing and reactions just aren't quite at their best. All the blood's in the legs, and just trying to ride a section like that, it's really difficult as we come down to get the A-line. You've got to come right out wide, almost lose a little bit of time to gain some time. So it's a tough section.
Yeah, Buck Peterson though, that familiar style of hers, really, really aggressive on the bike, is starting to build a little lead now. 7 seconds to go. Keller starting to toy with Risford. Just a trio, well, I say just in inverted commas, a trio of short track wins to Alexander Keller's name, but 11 podiums just gives you a sense of just how impressive she is. Bottles discarded, but Buck Peterson starting to build a lead. It's 9 seconds now. Steger's going backwards in the Red Bull helmet, and you're shot now.
And the way that Buck's taken this one on, and it's left to the overall leader, Keller. He didn't have the best of starts. Took a while, I think, to recover from that a little bit.
It's earlier than we've seen from Buck Peterson. There you can see her heart rate zone, so it tells a story, doesn't it? 90 to 100%, 171 beats per minute at the minute for the woman who currently leads the way.
And I can say on this climb now, because we're getting a couple of laps in, it just makes it so hard. They don't carry that momentum so much now, and you've really got to work hard on this hill. And you go up past the tech zones that we use later, and it's a long drag up. You do get a little bit of recovery as you drop down, and you'll see that, but for Puck to go out this early, this hard.
Yeah, we haven't really seen that from her this season. She's tended to have riders around her, and she keeps sort of, as I say, jabbing and swinging at them and breaking the group down rider by rider. But this is a race-winning attack. It's going to come from quite a long way out on lap 4 out of 8 for Buck Peterson.
But we saw when she won at Val de Soleil, that was an easier course, and it stayed together a little easier.
There's Richards making her way past Steger. First we've seen of her. Evie Richards.
Yeah, Richards second behind Puck in this race last year, so both those riders clear on a great move on the inside there.
Front wheel nearly disappearing from underneath Chiara Siocchi. She shakes her head on the way out of that drop section, but Richards, we know how well she can descend, and if she can capitalise on it as she blasts past Candice Leal on the inside. Evie Richards on the move and heading towards the front of this bike race.
Yeah, and she knows this move from Puck. She's got to get back on terms as quickly as possible. And it's amazing. I mean, it's a tough circuit here. You know, you've got a little bit of altitude as well. It's hot, so it's going to really test the riders. And that doubt that Puck's taking, she's taking on early. She's getting into a rhythm, and it's up for Keller, Risford, Richards. You know, they're going to chase.
Well, we saw Keller come good in Novo Mesto Namarave on that last lap. She has got massive reserves of power now to ride her in second place. But Evie Richards looks to be the rider in the move, and she just gets a little swap on off that drop. We spoke with Evie earlier in the week, and she's back, isn't she? That big smile and just the confidence, and she's processed that concussion injury. It looks like she can now just focus on the racing again.
Yeah, once you get your confidence, these riders, the strength and depth is so deep that a lot of it does come back down to confidence. And Evie on the way up.
Rebecca Henderson as well putting Alessandra Keller under pressure. Evie Richards is fifth.
Moni Rittervalner moving up through as well, just on the back rear of Steiger.
So lap 5 out of 8, and it's not job done here for Puck Peterson. There's plenty of firepower behind her, and I just wonder if she's gearing up for a second attack just to bridge out a bit further, or if she can maintain this gap.
I mean, it's gone out so hard so early, and Puck just like that little bit more labour now. This is the last lap, that gap coming just that little bit. Keller on the front, pushing hard.
Yeah, clever riding from Henderson as well. If you want to be behind any rider in a situation like this, with this many laps to go, Alessandra Keller would be the one.
Interesting how hard that climb is. It starts looking more like an XCO first lap. You know, there's gaps appearing all over the place.
Keller lets Henderson past. She take a turn at the front now and try and do something about this gap.
And Mona Mitrovica as well. Always struggles a little bit in the short track, but she had a good short track here last year of top 10, which meant that she could recover and do a great Sunday race.
So it's Peterson out front from Henderson, from Keller. Then it's Evie Richards. Candice Lille is in there as well.
Sevilla Blanc's got up to 7th now, so slightly slow start. They missed the last race, so maybe needs to get that race speed and back in her legs a bit. It's going to take her a little longer to come through on this race.
Sevilla Blanc as well, one of those riders that you have to think, all her focus is on Paris 2024, and Sunday maybe the bigger day for her.
100%.
Gets inside the top 8 today. I think she'll be happy to get up back on the front row.
Yeah, for her it's a front row. I think it's a Sunday mission today.
So Puck Peterson leads the way then from Rebecca Henderson. Keller, Evie Richards is now with the chasing pair as well as she goes straight past them. The rider from Malvern in the UK.
Cracking rides apart from Henderson.
What about Candice Lille this year? Though? Doesn't matter what the weather's doing or what the track's like.
You see just struggling with Bassett. So on that long section, Candice Lille just coming to a halt, just a bubble. You see that gap that's caused now. She's just coming back onto that. That's the group from 2nd to 4th.
3 laps to go as the group start to look around them. 7 seconds is the gap between Puck Peterson at the front and the group led by Rebecca Henderson for now. Is Evie Richards going to try and use this combo as a bit of a springboard to head forward, but the gap currently holds for Puck Peterson.
Candice Lille just coming to a halt, just coming slightly offline on that rock garden. You've only got to go a foot either side from the main line and then you hit the big rocks until it stops. And thankfully she didn't fall off, but coming to a complete halt and then losing that front group.
You can see Keller pushing on now at the front of this group. So behind the top 4 then, Gwendolyn Gibson up into 5th place. Richards Trek Factory Racing teammate Gibson on the comeback hunt after that broken collarbone early in the year. She's definitely back with a bang. Then it's Linda Indergan, Chiara Tiocchi, Jenny Risvids, Kate Courtney and Sevilla Blanc inside the top 10. So Blanc, a couple of more spots if she wants to get on the front row.
You see Puck Peterson just coming off that descent, just standing up on the pedals, just trying to get some air back in the lungs, recover a little bit for this next climb section.
It's 11 seconds now, the gap. So Peterson may be having another dig at this, as is Evie Richards now, who's going to turn the Magnus on and try and get after her.
And Evie really likes this technical descent on the way back down, coming past Henderson, absolutely hitting it through the logs.
So low over the front of the bike, Evie Richards giving it absolutely everything, trying to pin back Puck Peterson here in Leger.
It's this section here which clearly suits Richards, and Henderson just struggling a little bit on the technical bits, but really on the climbs, one of the strongest in this group.
And this is one of those little points in a course where you'll be able to gauge how far you're off the rider in front.
And the result here last year, it was Puck Peterson who took it in a sprint from Evie Richards, so
it's a really nice, once you clear that big chunky rock section, it's a really good delivery onto the start-finish straight. Should have come down to a sprint. Look at the gap to Richards will just extend. Couple of bike lengths here, couple of bike lengths there on the descents.
She's going for this inside line. But on the bottom, you've just got to clear this really big boulder. Henderson riding it smoothly that time.
There's Puck Peterson who crosses the line. 2 to go. Let's find out what the gap is now. So we hear in Sevilla Blanc's had an issue on the last lap. Here we go, Ollie. And just stalls out behind Candice Lille. Loses all the momentum and 4 positions in the process. Sevilla Blanc, the US national champion. Things not going her way.
So unlucky to get caught behind Lille. He just came to a halt and then there's nowhere to go.
Keller's attacked here, and she has blown straight past Evie Richards. She's brought Henderson with her, so Richards fading now. Keller reeling. Puck Peterson back in, almost visibly there on screen. So let's get an update on the gap. It's 8 seconds on our screens in the booth, but Keller up out of the saddle, monstering towards the front of the race now.
Super strong karting from Keller there, all over the bike, which is her style, but working really hard. Henderson climbing well today, hanging with her. Interesting to see if Richards now can use her descending skills to try and get back onto the wheel.
Yeah, Richards needs a big second half of lap 7 here if she's going to want to get in the top 3 today.
Blunt recovering now to 5th.
Alessandra Keller tucking down behind the stem, looking for every single ounce of advantage she can eat out of this course in Leger. And there they are, at 3 seconds is the gap now between Puck Peterson and Alessandra Keller.
What a lap by Keller on that climb, and then on the descent as well, really carrying the speed and momentum.
And is this it for the race leaders? Keller's going straight past Puck Peterson here. Just sits in around this left-hand switch back. Puck has to cut back down again. Peterson has it covered. Henderson still in contention here in 3rd place, you know.
Henderson doing a cracking ride.
Yeah, on the number 12 Mondraker bike. 3rd place at the minute for Rebecca Henderson. Puck Peterson all of a sudden from a massive gap, 11 seconds at one stage. She's now having this potential win challenge.
Oh, and Richards, what a deception, hitting out the inside straight back onto the group.
Evie Richards roars back into this bike race in Leger, and suddenly there's 4 of them who can take the win. As they head on to the final lap, Puck Peterson looks over her shoulder. It's Peterson, Keller in the red and white, then Henderson, then Evie Richards. If Evie Richards can hold on to this front group and then springboard herself onto that final descent, Ollie.
What a amazing descent by Richards, and what's that done is she managed to close the gap before this last fast section. She's been able to sit in the wheels the whole way up. But unbelievable, she's gone for the attack again. I thought she might sit back. 174 on the heart rate, right up in that 90 to 100%.
Keller matching her blow for blow, pedal stroke for pedal stroke up this climb. There's Henderson. We need to see Richards just dropping back slightly under this pace from Keller. Keller at the front of the race now. Alessandra Keller takes the lead.
Peter just there, just struggling, rolling around the bike, but that gap's just starting to appear. Keller putting on the pressure.
It's the first time we've seen Puck Peterson's mouth open, gulping for air. Alessandra Keller fancies taking her 2nd short track win of the season. She's first to the top of the climb. And she's been good on the descent today, Ollie, as well.
But don't crank Richards out yet. She got back on last time.
We saw Richards dive bomb her way to the front of the race at that last lap. Can she do something magical? Again, Richards, 3 seconds by our clocks back from this lead. Keller, though, Keller's disappearing, you know.
She's going to have to be careful on these slippery guard sections. They're all off camber.
Alessandra Keller for Thomas Maxon, Swiss mind by racing. Evie Richards throwing the kitchen sink at it to try and get back on the front. Puck Peterson checks over her shoulder. Keller grits the teeth and heads back into these 2 horrible switchback climbs. It's Peterson, then Henderson, then Richards. Richards has one last ascent to try and launch an attack here.
Keller looking strong at the moment. That big wide line just trying to carry some speed and momentum.
And the head's going, the shoulders are going. Alessandra Keller, the woman with a huge lead at the front of this overall title race, is about to put some more points in the bank. Peterson looks like she's riding for 2nd place unless Henderson can launch something at the very death. But Henderson pulls up behind Puck Peterson into this rock section. Meanwhile, up front though, Alessandra Keller takes the win in Leger. Her 4th short track win. Behind her is Puck Peterson from Rebecca Henderson. Evie Richards, what a ride, what a brave ride for the Trek Factory racing star. 4th place for her, but all the plaudits have to go to that woman on your screen now. Alessandra Keller never gave up on that one.
Wow, what a fighter. At one point I thought Puck was going to ride away from that one.
Behind him, they're still crossing the line. Gwendolyn Gibson, superb 5th place for Gibson. Then it's Terpstra. Blunt recovers in 7th, so she will be on the front row. Mitterwalder on the front row.
Yeah. Following pattern like last year, got a good, really good short track, gets that front row start, and it will be a massive threat on Sunday.
Chiara Tiocchi after that initial pace drops to 15th, but Quite as tight a short track race as we had all season.
That was a great one.
Yep, absolutely superb stuff, as it tends to be in all formats here in Ligier. Keller doesn't look like she went as deep as she did in Nova Menstrom number Rave.
Recovered pretty quickly then, but fair play to Puck Pisa, taking it on lap 3, going for it, getting the gap. Really putting the pressures on the others.
We did say it was early from Peterson, and I wonder. But I'm looking forward to see the lap analysis of this, because the last third of this race, Keller just came on so strong, irresistible.
Rebecca Henderson as well, great short track. She was second in round 1, but hasn't in the short tracks recently in Europe, hasn't been able to repeat that performance, but with the Prima Floor rider doing a great one.
Clever ride from Henderson, but here is your winner today, Alessandra Keller. This is how she did it. Got on the front of this little group, and then almost by herself really pulled in an 11-second lead for Puck Peterson. Just outgunned her on that climb. Keller descended faster than everyone else. Got to the line first. Alessandra Keller, superb in Ligier. What a good race to kick off a fantastic weekend in mountain bike racing.
And the complete package as well. She was the strongest on the climb on those last laps, could back it up on the descent as well. Yeah, I mean, looking in fantastic form at the moment.
Yeah, shots fired here in Ligier. Alessandra Keller takes the win. What a statement it was. Here are confirmation of the results then. Keller, Peterson, Henderson, Richards, Gibson, your top 5. Turkstrup, Blunk, Mittervander will all join them on the front row of Sunday's cross-country Olympic race.
Big day in the Tour de France. If you have the amount of ticks that riders must have put against this, marking it up as a potential, then it was a very long list. Now that it started, we'll see whether that list has been shredded. We'll see how it gets taken on. There's a lot of ambition today. Whether it will be realised is anybody's guess. And we are underway. Nothing quiet about this start. Perhaps no surprise to see the polka dots up towards the front. He's got an intermediate sprint, but more importantly for him, he's got a couple of the lesser mountains that we're going to be dealing with up ahead down the roads. But the last 50 kilometres up today is where the action points really will come thick and fast. And it may well be, if a strong breakaway does manage to get themselves off and up the road, that in fact we get 2 races within 1. Remco Evenepoel at the beginning of the day said it could just be a case of him trying not to lose time today. At the end, Tadej Pogačar, his name is being screamed loud and proud amongst, of course, the favourites for today. Whether that will be in a secondary battle amongst the GC men or indeed at the pointy end, we don't know. We can only find out once this breakaway is established, and Sean, it could take quite a bit of time.
Yes, it could take quite a bit of time. We can see World Poles here from Bahrain Victorious trying to push on here. Yeah, there's a lot of teams mixtures here, as you can see here. You know, they're just looking away, seeing who's moving. Nobody wants to make the big effort on the front of the peloton, and as we can see, you know, they're all following each other here, and that is the problem. When you have a day where everybody pretty much is talking, there's a good possibility for the breakaway to get up the road and go all the way to the finish and fight for the stage win. Well then, you know, there's a lot of interest, and you know, 9 teams with stage wins here. There's a lot of teams, you know, need something out of this one, and today is an opportunity day.
Covered out and never that far away from the pointy end. Francis Dejeu desperate to get a stage win. So many French riders and French teams have shone in this race, and they want to be part of it. The American champion Sean Quinn up towards the floor. We expect sort of a rolling series of attacks. I think for the Education Easy Post today, they've been very much animators of this race. Still to find their stage win. Maybe that will be today. It seems an ideal one for Ben Healy, who hasn't shown his nose just yet out front, Sean, but it's only going to be a matter of time, Sean.
Yes, well, it's certainly a matter of time. We can see there EF Education, easy post. Paulus is the one who is, making the moves here. But you can see there that there's, a lot of the teams who are expecting DSM. We can see there. We can see Total Energies, Group AM FDJ. We can see again EF Education, Paulus having another go here. So the teams that you're expecting to, want to be in the breakaway, they're all present on the front here, but they're all waiting, watching each other. Nobody wants to make too much of an effort when they feel it might not be the right move, but we can see here it's starting to stretch out.
Matthew's just tagging on to, I beg your pardon. We'll reboot that. Roman Bardet, very much surprised to be out of the front so early. I thought it would be Warren Barguil, but he suffered a puncture. I don't know whether his shoulders have dropped modestly. Let's wait and see. This could be a folding affair, Sean, for quite some time.
Yes, well, it looks like that it is getting very tactical here, and we can see Stefan Kung from Group AM FDJ having a go here. When it's a day, it's pretty guaranteed the breakaway will get away. Then you see a lot of the riders just looking, waiting, not making too much of an effort, riding on the front for long time with riders in your wheel here. So that's what we're seeing here at the moment. A lot of waiting, looking at each other, following wheels, and it looks like it's going to go on for a while. But at any point, when you get 10, 12 riders up the road, the teams that want to get in the breakaway are out there, then the GC team slows it down. It could get away suddenly, and you have to be there if you're a team that want to be up there. And we can see Carapaz moving here. EF Education, the easy posters are one we're expected to be very active, and they have been right from the start.
Carapaz kicking it. I was just about to say, is that Brian Kokar who's coming to try and join the front? Stevie Williams is on the back of that little line of 5 or 6 riders that are just chasing into Carapaz at the moment. Would be an ideal kind of man today, Carapaz, to try and deliver something. I was just about to say, we haven't seen the first real concerted attack, really trying to sprint away, because riders have been looking over their shoulders to see the composition of the attempted break, Sean, and that's a natural thing. Will it be allowed off the roads is always the question you ask yourself when you come off the front.
Well, I think it will be allowed up the road by the GC teams, but the teams that are interested in the breakaway, they're all trying to be there, not giving the big effort at all, as you say, Calvin, for the moment. They're thinking, this break, I have to try and get into it. If I make too many efforts going with moves, well then I'm not going to be able to go on the right one. So they're all thinking that same, spare a little bit. They're also thinking the end of this stage is a real difficult one. The final 60 kilometres are majorly difficult, and it's a long stage, 211 kilometres, the second longest stage of the tour. And we're into the second week of racing, although we had a rest day 2 days ago, Monday. Yes, yesterday was a pretty easy day. There is, a lot of fresher riders here, but still all playing cagey.
15 or so riders, just all locked together at the moment, all looking at each other, wondering about the composition of the group, just wanting to make sure that nobody with a real threat to the GC. What would you suspect, Sean, would be an acceptable rider? Somebody who's more than 5 minutes on the overall classification would be allowed in the break. Is even 5 minutes too much?
Well, I think around the 5 minutes, and depending on who that rider is as well, because we're very early in the race. From the mountain stages, we had one stage already in this race, and this is only the second mountain day, so we haven't had a real test. But I think around that 5 minutes is one where the teams will be looking at and not allowing the rider in that place in GC to go off the road.
John Degenkolb has now joined the fun here, just tucked in. Saw right at the very beginning of the day, which was certainly hovering around the rear bumper of Christian Prudhomme. And we'll be hearing from Matt Stevens in a few moments' time on the motorcycle. French champion has got himself up Paul Lepera for Decathlon AG Tour La Mondiale. They would love something out of the day. Lidl Trek looking extremely busy, few other teams as well. Total Energy is clearly getting a massive boost after Anthony Turgis' victory on stage 9. They were some of the early animators here everything being neutralised just for now. Let's hear the thoughts of Matt Stevens.
Bonjour tout le monde! I'm on the motor again for stage 11. I've got my cheese and ham baguette ready to fuel me on what is going to be a very, very long day in the saddle. But my first observations, the first few Ks, we're actually ahead of the race at the moment. We're going to try and drop in behind any breakaway that forms early. Is that it's just really undulating. You don't get a true sense of how hilly this is by the profile. It looks pretty flat, but believe you me, it's up and down. They'll be carrying a lot of momentum into each of these kickers, strength tapping, and also on chipping watch as well. The road surface we've got out in rural France is a little bit like we get in the UK. Harder, bigger chippings, a little bit harder to move through, will sap the strength a little bit more. So all of these factors will play in to the fatigue that will set in at the back end of this extraordinarily long and difficult day in the saddle. But for me, it's bon appetit and back to the commentators.
Thank you, Matt. Heavy road, Sean, we were discussing this before we came to air. You said it's not a nice place to ride your bike. Very fatiguing. Just explain what a heavy road means.
Well, exactly as Matt said, the surface on the road, are bigger chippings here, and you know, heavier roads, we say. The bike doesn't roll as well as on the very smooth roads. And some places in France we have real smooth surface. Here is that heavier surface, coarser surface, and that makes it more difficult. And sometimes here you can get really warm, although today it's not too warm here to start. They're giving it warmer late in the day, so that is going to be a help to a lot of the riders here. But yeah, in general, this part of France, it is heavier road surface for all at this stage.
There we go. Finally, a Trident off the front here, double checking over their shoulder, see if anyone else is going to be tempted. Surely three are not going to be allowed to go when there's so much at stake for those teams who've not got much out of the race so far. Arkea, of course, with Kevin Volkela. They've been busy in the sprints as well, really trying yesterday to get Arnaud Demar into position. Didn't quite work out, I'm afraid, for Demar. But they're quite a team that will indeed go all in. And guess what? It's Volkela again with Asher and Johannesson. This is three riders, Sean, that you would have put a tick against today for.
Yes, but we're putting a lot of ticks early on today.
That is true.
When we went down to the start list, I think we had about 25 ticks there. So yeah, it's not surprising we have some of them in that ones who are highlighting. But there's going to be a lot more, I think. I'd be surprised if this, you know, slows down and allow this breakaway to go away, because the riders we have up here, you know, they are serious ones, but it'll learn enough, and there will be teams who will start to try and get across here. They will get an earful in the DS's team car here to get across to this one. And yeah, when you can see, you know, Pacher, Vauquelin, Hansen, you know, three good riders here, but how long will it be allowed?
Well, almost the eternal question, it's fair to say. And here's your answer, Sean. There's a few others that would like to reach out and indeed join the fun. I thought that Lutsenko might have another one of his louder days. He got himself up in the break a couple of days ago, and in fact into Troyes, finishing sixth place that day. He's got some happy hunting grounds, which he would probably count this, but the trio, indeed for the time being, are being allowed their head because the chase can't organise itself, Sean, and a few disruptors are getting involved as well. We've got teammates within this trio.
Yes, well, we can see that there's riders from the men that are in the breakaway on the front of the peloton. You know, they are going to try and close this one down and follow the attacks, and that is always difficult. And we can see there EF Education, Easy Post are the ones again, you know, pushing on. Nelson Paulus having a go here, and this is only going to last for a little bit, and we will see more attacks. We have to see, you know, some of the other teams that want to be in the breakaway try and get across to this one before it gets out of control. 15 seconds at the moment, and we can see the peloton is still going along at a very fast pace. So for the three, you know, to open up the gap quickly, it's going to take a bit of time.
A rare chance at the Vita for us. Tour de France, stage 11, halfway through, 211 kilometres, 4,300 metres of climbing. We've only just had the first of 6
KOMs. Ben Healy at the front of the race with 18 seconds. He has the Olympic champion and his teammate Richard Carapaz with him. Oyen Lascano, Paul Lapera, Oscar Onley, the young Scot, is there for DSM. Former French amateur champion Matteo Verchi along for the ride as well. 20 seconds and counting. No breakaway with 85 kilometres ridden. Danny Rowe's been alongside me, Rob Hatch, for a while in the commentary. Robbie McEwen joins us, and he joins us just at a point where we heard from an interesting radio communication from EF Education Easy Post. Experienced sports director Charlie Wegelius was saying, well, we want these guys in the break, but we don't want to cook them. There are intentions, and then there are what happens in the race, and well, they've been barbecued so far, so has everybody.
Well, Rob, I'm going to hit you with a culinary analogy. You can't uncook a steak.
You spent a long time living in Belgium, haven't you?
That's my own one I just made up.
All right.
It'll catch on. You watch. But, you know, they've put in so much effort to get themselves in this break. Carapaz has attacked and been in more groups than anybody so far today over the last, 90 kilometres almost. And that has got to take its toll on anybody. No matter how good a day you're having, how good your form is coming in and feeling rested after a rest day and an easy day, those sort of efforts, under normal circumstances, always got to build in a little room for something incredibly special. Normally you'd just be too burned up, and then someone who has then got in the break at their first attempt, the very first acceleration and time they've tried to go in one, they're the ones who normally come out fresher at the end of the day.
We know that Carapaz is a special athlete, though, isn't he? I mean, this is a guy that if he hadn't had a crash and a fall, he might be still competing for the general classification. He's a Grand Tour winner. He's won the leader jersey at all of them. When someone like that wants to get up the road, it's a different level, isn't it?
It is, and we saw that in the first couple of days of this race when he took the yellow jersey into Bologna over the San Luca. He ended up at the finish with Evenepoel, Vingegaard and Tadej Pogacar. Wore yellow, lost time then in the first real mountain stage over the Galibier. He was dropped, but he's a guy who I don't think is going to fade much as this race goes on. It just depends on the type of efforts required day to day in a stage like this. And I mean, I'll be amazed if he can even get away with this group and distance the peloton, because so far it has just been so ridiculously aggressive. And I've got to say, some others say, oh, I'm not surprised, I felt this was going to happen. I'm surprised at the way UAE are riding this stage with what I think is little to gain for so much input. But maybe they're thinking the way Jonas has been going uphill, and he's talking about favouring the high mountains that are still to come, maybe Tadej Pogacar and his team think this could be the easiest way to gain at least 18 seconds.
I think so. I think for Jonas, he's looked so good, and it's not on his perfect terrain so far. So actually, for Pogacar on terrain like this, where we know he can thrive, it's a good opportunity, and especially with the bonus seconds on offer as well. We've got 8,
which
5,
is why I
and 2.
say 18.
Yeah, of course. So
people might be thinking, why do you say 18 seconds?
Yes, 10, 6 and 4 on the line, 8, 5 and 2 for the bonus seconds, which are on the penultimate climb. You can just see here on the screen that B indicating where that lies with just over 14 kilometres to go. Also, similarly to Carapaz, for Ben Healy, this is perfect. He comes good when the race is hard. He's a fighter. He keeps going and going until that elastic snaps. We saw that in Slovenia where he won that stage, and it was an absolutely remarkable ride from him. He's tried multiple times already in this tour. So actually, I think cooking him is their best opportunity to take a stage.
Well, look at this, 22 seconds. They've got 3.5 kilometres to go to the top of this KOM. And now UAE are on their favoured terrain if they want to pull the brake back yet again. But time will tell if the way they are riding is a mistake. They've gone back to the front of the peloton yet again. 2 riders. Tadej Pogacar there in 5th wheel at the moment, on the back of his teammates. It may not be today that he cracks a pit, but tomorrow it won't be. It's a flatter stage. But later on this race, if things start to unravel for Tadej Pogacar, has a bad day, you've got to work your way backwards and point to incidences where they might have just used themselves up too much.
This is Pavel Sivakov, early birthday present, 27 tomorrow, and the Frenchman is at the front of his national tour.
And home roads.
Well,
yeah, more or less. I mean, he's not far away.
He's Pyrenees. The weekend will be home roads for Sivakov. This is Marnus Court though, and Uruex have missed it. They've got Jonas Abrahamsson in the polka dot jersey. There are 2 points available at the top here. Let's see what Court is going to do. 3Ks to the top. Healy rides and rides and rides.
Looks super composed as well, and a telltale sign is body language, and we can read into that. Compared to Lascano, who was grimacing here, a problem from Roman Bardet. Just put his arm up to indicate that he needs assistance from his team car. He'll try and stay towards the back as long as he can. Looks like a back wheel puncture. Just popped his back wheel up there. He'll try and stay in contact with the back of the peloton for as long as he possibly can. Give himself an easier ride back on when he gets that wheel change or bike change.
Fight just to stay anyone near the back here. Gap up to 33 seconds. Court can't ride anymore. And it now looks as though the pace is being set. That's not quite bringing them back here. It's just keeping them in check. We've got a certain sense of some sort of pattern for the first time in the whole day.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to control things here. Pavel Sivakov on the front, but that is a huge telltale sign that it is going to blow to pieces in that final. We know these 4 climbs come thick and fast from each other, starting with around 46k to go. Roman Bardet, bike change, quickest way to get back and pedalling, so that wouldn't have taken too much out of him, and he'll be back on the peloton as quickly as he possibly can. But it is a big telltale sign, Rob, that they're going to be fireworks in the final. They would not be riding like this if they weren't looking to take the stage and take the time.
That's the Lancashire Road Club's Matt Winston's gym work done for the day there. Big push off for Romain Bardet on a very special day, of course, for Bardet.
Well, Matt Winston's not going to bulk up pushing Bardet. It's not quite the same prospect as pushing Fabio Jakobsen back into action.
Binyam Girmay losing contact with the main group. Also going backwards there is Pete Allegard. Towards the back here is Stevie Williams, because he was trying to get in the breakaway. This here, letting the gap grow now to 48 seconds, is Pavel Sivakov. Youngles.
Oh, missed it.
The Sonia hasn't recognised the new team kit, maybe. No, you're not taking one of our bottles, mate. Oh dear.
Won't get your wings like that, will you? Arnold Bimar at the back. Also down there's Jake Stewart. Christoph here.
Oh, they're letting this one slide out now, UAE, approaching the minute mark. Biggest gap so far, no?
We've not had anything approaching this so far.
Nothing more than 30 seconds, I think.
But others are seeing that and want to be involved, led by Monsieur Bernard. He's still got to make some money back up after that fine, hasn't he?
Maybe his wife's standing on this climb.
You won't be stopping then, that's for sure.
Well, Obama, no excuse for missing a move today at all. Nobody on the GC, no sprinters. Today was the day where you expected half the team to be up there, and well, they're trying their best to get Gregoire involved.
Sometimes it just is a case of you're just not strong enough.
Look at Lascano, he's really hurting himself. This is Onley's terrain, however. Tired, hurting, exhausted bodies.
Such a contrast seeing the back of the peloton, what's left of it, and the front where the UAE riders that are setting the pace looks smooth and controlled, and then you see the bobbing, rocking and rolling figures at the back of the bunch just hanging on for their life on this stage of the tour. I think that the Gruppetto will be okay time-wise, but you just don't want to get dropped too early on a stage like this. And if you're not used to being dropped on minor climbs like Cat 3s and Cat 4s, there'll be riders who are panicking about being dropped at this moment, where the sprinters, they go, oh, welcome to our world, we'll get by.
You could see Carapaz as well, just using his bidon to pour water over his body. So it's quite a hot day out there. So that heat will also add to the fatigue of these riders. A lot of them using those core body sensors now, so the team can see their core body temperature and how they can use different tactics to keep them as cool as possible. But UAE, the whole team now, or five of the team on the front, just trying to control this one. 3 of these riders in the gap between.
$500 metres to the top. Gap's at 106 now. Look at Healy. He is absolutely motoring. Lascano's suffering just to stay there, just to be in the wheel. Reminder that in the chase you've got Bernard and Grégoire.
Two EF riders look so focused, so composed, don't they? And I actually heard a really interesting, apparently fact from a psychologist who said if you can have that poker face versus what we're seeing from Lascano with that huge grimace, you can actually save energy. It's quite interesting, I thought. So for these riders, just trying to hide the fact that they're really suffering. This man is not hiding.
I subscribe to that. I definitely subscribe to that. I always relax. Like, the more muscles you engage, as Carapaz just takes the maximum on the KOM.
We start to get an idea then of what his plans for the rest of the tour are.
Yeah, in a stage like this, decent points on offer, 25 in total throughout the day. The leader of the competition, Jonas Abrahamsen, on 33 at the start of the day. They couldn't take the jersey off him, or could he, in fact? Because...
Well, Abrahamsen on 33 points at the start of the day, 25 points to be picked up today in the King of the Mountains competition.
I don't think Carapaz has...
No, he hasn't got a point yet in that
points,
competition.
I was just checking my facts before I stated that, but... no points so far. That's his first one, but you've got to start somewhere. And the ticker is now on 1.
2 actually.
2.
Yeah. He's on his way. He's on his way. Ticked over.
See, already twice as many as I thought he had.
And a marvellous number of 22 points still to be picked up today as well.
It'll be a marvellous effort if he can back up what he's doing today in the coming hilly stages. But we got tomorrow a little bit easier profile, nothing much on the menu.
Welcome back, everybody, into the final 50Ks now. Look at that, the hills are rising, the valley's closing in. The hills are here. Le Lion, the destination. 2 previous stage finishes and twice it's been Belgian. Michel Volentier in the mid-70s. And Greg van Avermaet, the last time we were there in 2016, taking the jersey, the yellow jersey off of Peter Sagan on that day, the start of a golden period for Golden Red. This is the start of the approach to the first of our series of classified climbs, the second category, Col de Néron. Adam Blythe and Sean Kelly with me, Rob Hatch. John Harris passes here as well alongside us, and we're looking, Adam, at these teams now, making sure they're at the front with the leaders. You've got all the big 4 teams making sure they're near the front.
Yeah, we do indeed. We've got on the left-hand side Bora, in the middle Quick Step there, and on the right-hand side of our scheme we've got UAE, and just behind them and just slightly placed a little bit further back, just alongside the Ineos Grenadiers, is Team Wiesmann-Lease Bike. Quite a long way back, Wiesmann-Lease Bike, to be honest, for those guys. It's not too much of an issue.
they'll be able to move up, but there you can just see Wout van Aert on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, Jan Tratnik behind him, and just behind him we have Jonas Vingegaard, their team leader. So yeah, the big three teams, 4 teams, are moving their way up there, 3 of them already up there, but it was a difficult one today, wasn't it? We spoke about this on the breakaway this morning. How is this going to go? What day is it going to be like? Is it going to be a GC day or not? I think from very early on, intentions were made clear.
We're just getting rumours of maybe a puncture for UAE, but not on the bike, perhaps in the team car. There's a few rumours flying around. We're going to try and see if Matt Stevens can confirm that for us. But on the bike, it's now Mats Soler who's taken it up. The pace has been increased. And sure, this is a drag race at 48.5k to go.
It is, and we can see the teams, just wanting to have that good position and the pace just slowly going up here. And this is going to be a real difficult one and a difficult final for a lot of riders. We can see riders losing contact, but a lot of those riders, we talked about Gil May there, and a lot of the sprinters, they know now that they're in the safe zone and they're thinking about tomorrow and the days where they can go for the glory. But here, it's all about the GC guys, and you can see the way they're pushing on. It's been interesting to see. We did see Bahrain victorious. Bilbao was in difficulty early in the day. He was not comfortable, and that will be interesting when the guys there in that top 15 places in the general classification, they have to fight to stay in there, and some of the teams, they need them in there because they are the best man in the GC.
Well, that UAE car looks all right. Plenty of rumours, as we said, flying around. If there is any issue, it's certainly not right for the front of the bunch there. Tim Wellens has gone backwards. A lot of riders joining in here. The up in pace really being noted. Even Lompard's going backwards as well. At the front is Gianni Mosconi, who's keeping Remco Evenepoel in his mate's race. Left-hand side, Matteo Sobrero does the job for Red Bull. Bora Hansgrohe, Primož Roglic sitting third wheel. On the left, as we look at it, Jonas Abrahamsen is there or thereabouts. And on the right, look at Soler. Look at the effort he's having to put in there just to maintain the position.
So look at Ben Turner as well coming through the middle. It is so difficult. Jonas Vingegaard coming up. He's lost Wout van Aert by the looks of things, but positioning looks to be very important leading into that. And now, a narrow road coming up, so needing to be at the front is essential for it. But Soler there, just with a shake of the head a minute ago as well. So maybe Sivakov just saying to him, do you need help just yet? Do you need help just yet? But he will try and bring them right to the foot of this climb and save his teammates, the likes of Sivakov behind for later on, a little bit later, so he can set a tempo on a climb.
Goodbye to Rui Costa. Same to Magnus Kort. Also Kevin Vukula. Off they go. In the meantime, there's a man less now for Primož Roglic because Marco Haller has gone backwards. All understandable and predictable given what's on the road today. This is Nikias Arndt for Bahrain. And now at the front, Michal Kwiatkowski appears as Soler begins to tire. That's that for him.
That's up for him, and it's messy at the minute, isn't it? Kwiato on the front there on the right-hand side in the red helmet. He's got Rodriguez tucked right on the wheel, Bernal just behind him as well. It is hotting up into this climb. I mean, we've still got 46 k's to go, but the way these guys are riding, Tratnik now on the right-hand side. Van Aert's still there, apologies, moving up in front of Tratnik, or trying to.
Louis Parker through the centre, and Sean can't quite believe what he's seeing. He's laughing watching this.
Well, I'm laughing at Abrahamsen there. He was on the front there, pulling it on, and I have to look at Uno X Mobility to see in the GC standings who's up there, but there is nobody, and we could see a teammate with him there, but it's an interesting one. That guy, the power he has got and the riding he has done with his nose in the wind in this race is amazing, and he's in excellent form. But we can see the fight on the front of the peloton, and the gap 104 at the moment. It's just melted down so quickly, and not surprising because, as you mentioned, Rob, Soler there, you could see the effort he was making just to hold that front end of the peloton against the other teams, and it's a big drag race between the big teams now.
The next climb is the Col de Neron. The graphic on the right-hand side shows what we've got to come, and this is the start of a massive moment in this race. 46 kilometres to go. Just under 4 k's to go to the top of this climb. It gets very steep, and look at the roads. They're so narrow. It's the rugged terrain of the Cantal that's proving the stage today. There's a crash behind. There's Melissa Blake.
Van Aert, I think by the looks of things, the Tratnik's still on the front there, but here it is.
on, didn't he? There he's, oh, dearie me.
Oh, he saved that well. That could have been a lot worse.
And just behind him, Jorgensen there, almost going down. So rider from Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, I think it's Jungels, left-hand side, who almost went down with him.
I mean, as far as crashes go, that could have been a heck of a lot worse. Wout van Aert, we know, one of the best bike handlers in the world, but being able to hop up a curve whilst leaning over at around 30 degrees, just adjusting himself so the back wheel hit the barrier, straight back up. But, I mean, I'm glad he's all right, but if we see a replay of that, when you think about everything he's just had to do in the space of a second, it's unbelievable how that could have been so much worse for him.
Team car's moved on there.
Yes,
Sure.
yeah, team car one moved on. I think he told them, yes, it's all okay there. Of course, there's the other team car further back, and we can see it again here, just up the curve there, 5 or 6 inches curve, just popped it up, but no way he was able to control it, but still did a fabulous job, and not really going straight on. He could have done a lot more damage.
With the gap more than half now, the break is breaking up and Lascano attacks, followed by Healy here. Guillaume Martin, I'm just looking at his results. He's still never ever won a World Tour race as Martin. He's up there. I don't think today's going to be the day. As Vertier goes backwards, Almiray is joining him, and a lot of these guys will be thinking, why on earth did I bother today?
Were you trying to say today's going to be the day?
It's easy to say that now.
It certainly is. Of course, on paper, this was the big day that was going to be a breakaway. I mean, we spoke to some sports directors even telling us, no, this is the day, they're going to give the jersey away, da-da-da. Now, the race has been so aggressive, and that really wouldn't have been possible today. But Lascano and Healy will continue to ride on. That's what they do. The only question here is when they're going to be caught, surely.
Yes, well, it is going to be a matter of time here. You can see there, under a minute now, and the guys here out in front, the effort they have made, trying to get into the breakaway, then in the breakaway, contributing all day, and this is a long stage as well. So all of that will start to hit you. And 45 kilometres to go with the terrain. Like if we had just one climb here, 2.6 kilometres to the top, and then it was relatively flat to the finish, you'd say they might have a chance if they can get a number of riders together, but no way over this sort of terrain.
Are you so missing there again, Rob? From the front of UAE by the looks of things. We know that he's been sitting a bit further back, and there's been a talk and what's he doing, what's he playing up. It just looks like he's riding side. He likes to sit just that little bit further back at the minute. Sivakov on the front, Almeida, Adam Yates and Tadej Pogačar, but no Ayuso to be seen.
Almeida slipping into the domestique role absolutely beautifully. Not the same for Ayuso. We've seen a lot of infighting in the press so far as well. It's Gaudu. It's goodbye.
Such a difficult one for the breakaway today as well, even when they got that gap quite late on in the stage where it eventually did get the official gap where it was fully let go. But at that time as well, you can imagine how UAE have been riding. The chats from within the team car, we've committed so much, we still want to give it a go, but it's such a difficult thing to say, right, stop riding, let's try and reset it again when you two, especially for EF, were the two best riders they wanted to be up the road today. Just UAE just completely ruining it, not just for them, but everyone within that break.
We're halfway up the first of our series of leg-breaking climbs towards the end today. Never really any flat at the start, but it's this succession of relatively short but very steep climbs that's making the difference. Already in double digits here, and the yellow jersey, Tadej Pogačar, who laid his plans out, let's be honest, in the mix zone this morning. He was hinting, even saying that he wanted to do something today. His team has showed that that's been the case all day long. The other teams have had to do what they can. We've seen Kwiatkowski on duty to try and get mates up the road. We're now seeing Kwiatkowski having positioned his leaders going backwards. This is Romain Bardet. He's going to get a chance to smile and enjoy, maybe alongside Geraint Thomas there, his final ever Tour de France ride up and through his own fans. That's coming up on the next climb, by the way, the Virage Bardet, the Bardet curve. This is the Col de Néron. But Sean Kelly, next up is Puy-Marie, Pas de Pérol. And well, if you think about last time,
2020, it was electric, the pace up there. A Strava KOM was set, 13 minutes 48 by Tadej Pogačar. That's on his way to the first of 2 successive Tour de France wins. They weren't stage-winning moves that day, but both he and Roglic had their first rodeo together. I think Pogačar is starting to get fond memories of that climb because it's next up.
Yes, and I think Rog will be hoping that he is in the shape he was back in that stage, because this is going to be a real fight here between the GC men, and it's going to be an interesting one. The top of the GC rankings, who is going to take time? Will anybody take time? Will they be able to do it with this terrain? It is very possible we could see that, and it's going to be a hectic 40 plus kilometres here as we go into this final very difficult stage already.
Gregoire is caught, Almirai is retaken, and their compatriot Sivakov working hard. This is Paul's, that's Youngles, alongside them Castroviejo, and they've been dropped.
I think drops as well, but realising, there's no point in going full gas to the finish today. There's bigger days to come where they can save that energy. You have to remember that with a lot of the riders that have gone out the back as well, to save it. You've got 20 more days in the Tour de France. It's been probably the hardest start to this year's Tour de France. Save your energy because there's more days to come, and if UAE carry on like they are, they need that energy.
Sean, talking of Rog there, I think he's all alone, isn't he?
Yes, it looks like that, and just looking back there to see the other guys, as we can see, a lot of riders. Jack Haig, a really good climber, and still not able to follow this pace so far out from the finish, and that tells the difficult day it's been, and this pace being set by UAE. It will be an interesting one when we pan back here. Trying to look for Ayuso, he's further back, but we can see Butrago there from looking for Bilbao. He's the one I was investing in to see how he will fare out, because he's another one in the GC standings. He's in about 15th place, and when you look at the riders ahead of him, the team will be expecting him to be a man who will keep up there in the GC and keep the car in the cavalcade as well, which is important as we go into the mountain stages later, all of that. But it's going to be an interesting one here.
So that is Healy. He's following Lascano behind his Carapaz. I was just having a look at that group, Adam. Roglic has one rider left, but he's sat much further down in the group. The windows are open. It's the former Giro winner Jai Hindley who's still in the group, but not alongside Roglic.
No, not alongside him for now, but he's there. If there's a problem, he can help or support him, and I don't think Roglic, at this point in time, is going to really hit out. Let's remember those bonus points on a penultimate climb today. They will be huge. They'll be massive, especially for the likes of Tadej Pogačar, and I think he'll try and, for me, he'll go on the bottom of that climb or the next climb to try and not just extend his lead by bonus points, but also extend it in terms of time gap as well.
And just to situate everybody here, as Vingegaard even follows Pogačar to the left-hand side when he was going for some food then. It's the Puy-Marie-Pateron next, which is the climb we were talking about, the Pog and Rog show from 2020. After that, it's the Col de Pertus, where we've got the 8, 5 and 2 bonus seconds. There's another third category climb following that one, and then a short descent and a final 600 metres up to the line at 6 and 7%. Le Lyon, where there are 10, 6 and 4 for first, second and third on the stage. Now then, on the radio here is Pavel Sivakov.
Yeah, I think Tadej just dropped back. He took that bottle and just dropped back to 3, 4, 5 places. So Tadej, as we heard the other day, just back off a little bit when he stopped for a wee so he could get back on easier. He might have just simply asked him, just knock it off a bit so I can move back into my position and then carry on. Who knows?
Healy and Lascano back together. They've extended their lead on the peloton, which would certainly play into your hypothesis that they might have just lifted up the foot a little bit. It's 1:10. Carapaz is at 18 seconds, 100 metres behind. Regardless of whether they stay away or not looking likely, Sean, we've been saying it for some time. There are still some mightily strong rides in this plate.
No, I don't think it's going to happen for these guys, and they are putting up a big fight here, continuing on here. But again, when you see just over the minute here, and when you see the team of UAE, the way they're just having a chat with each other here, and he certainly just knocked off a little bit. Interesting there from UAE also, I see Ayuso, he's very much on the rear of this group, and we can see some of the other GC men, but it's not a problem here for the moment to stay, because you can see that group of favourites of the yellow jersey. It's a tiny group already, so you can sit back a little bit further, and that will be an interesting one to see what they will do as they get further into this stage. And the interesting one is the teams. Who's going to have more there? We see Visma, they still have quite a number of riders there with Bing and Rowe. But when you look at UAE for the final, you would expect there to be the stronger team. But they are also doing a big amount of grafting here to work on the front.
5 points to Ben Healy in the King of the Mountains competition. 3 go to Oyod Lascano, and Richard Carapaz is trying to fight out for what remains. Will be 2 points here. 22 seconds back. He's just under a minute in front of the yellow jersey group.
No surprise the work you had to do early on with just 2 riders for about 10-15k, and that was after multiple attacks in the start when the race was at its fastest point. So yeah, it's no wonder the defending Olympic champion has started to feel it a little bit.
Mind you, he's not going to be allowed to defend his title, not selected for Ecuador for the single place. That okay, this year, I should say, has gone to Jonathan Narvaez. This is Bernard. He's with Oscar Onley. If you like the roads around here, by the way, we talked about Romain Bardet being a local, 33-year-old on his home roads today, from Brioude, just down the road. He's actually designed 4 cyclo-tourist routes, and available at all the local tourist offices. It's the RPX, the Romain Bardet Experience, apparently, and 4 different routes have been designed around here by him. There's UAE Emirates and another Frenchman, Pavel Sivakov, come over the climb. And that's all that's left of the yellow jersey group. $1.22 the gap.
Not really a descent they've got coming up here as well, Rob. They've just got a tiny, I say tiny, they've got a plateau for, what is it, about 9 kilometres-ish before they start to climb again. The first part, they drop down, they've got the plateau, then they drop down, it's 5 kilometres, sorry, almost 6. And then the next part of the climb before it really picks up before the top part, we've got 3Ks at around 5%. And then the last couple of kilometres up around that 11% mark, so super difficult. Maximum gradients of 14% towards the top. Is that Johnny Hindley back there now? No, that's Sobrero. Apologies.
Hindley's still just about in the front group. There's Romain Bardet with Geraint Thomas. If the Pools panel might have been forecasting a home win today, I'm afraid that's not the case. It's going to those at the top of the table. 40 kilometres remain. A short descent this before we get to the first slopes of the Puy-Marie Trade-Bérol, and it's a climb that gradually ramps up and continues to do so. The most intriguing part of this climb coming up are the last 3Ks. Adam, before you go, is this where we're going to see the big action?
I don't know. Hopefully.
So we're on our way down the hill, led by Pavel Sivakov, 1:17 the gap. 3 classified climbs to go before the little rise to the line.
I've not gone just yet. Just a quick note, Ayuso's just moved up. So he's back there. Tadej Pogacar further back, as you can see in his bright yellow. There's 4 riders now, and Ayuso's the last rider in the front there.
This is the Queen Mary. The climb itself, 5.4 kilometres long, an average gradient of 8.1%. However, critically, it's the descent down into the ascent of this climb that is really crucial. It's fast, it's twisty, you've got a few stone bridges to contend with, and it's only here towards the top kilometre, where it is so steep, around 40 kilometres, but this is Vinage Romain Bardet. This is Romain Bardet corner, which has been organised by his fan club here in his final Tour de France. It only seems right that this French legend, who's had success in the Tour, goes out with this support. It is quite simply incredible. It feels amazing. The atmosphere is so fun, and everyone is clearly enjoying themselves. And Romain Bardet, I really hope you have some time to enjoy this that your fan club have arranged for you, because it's incredible.
What an atmosphere. Thanks, Anna. Yes, we've already seen that he will have time to enjoy it. Balde is on his way. They can watch the race, and they'll be able to see by Balde inside afterwards. These two are still racing, though. Clearly the Irish star with the pink jersey on it. Lascano in the blue, and the Basque Country, and its capital, actually, from Vitoria. Spanish champion last year, chased by the man from the mountains in Ecuador, Richard Carapaz. 20 seconds, 1:10 back to the peloton. And Hannah there at Virage Valdez, seeing quite the atmosphere. And now that these runs are though. Just to go up the hill. Come down the hill. Very good job at this to it. With Thomason. I'm sure we'll be keeping a camera on Balde for when he gets near the top of these Pulimari. Climbing the famous match on Saturday, 12th time in tour history. It's all about those last 2 points. You've got the third from last kilometre at 5.5%. Then it goes up to 9.2 for the penultimate kilometre. The last kilometre is at 14%. It gets gradually worse. The pace is gradually increased. If you're not on a day-to-day, you can lose serious time.
Yes, and also the distance from the finish, it's what, 30 kilometres approximately from the finish, so if you lose a bit of ground at all, you have that descent, and then you have another climb to get up, and then to the finish downhill, and you know, there's a lot of difficult terrain even after that, so if you go into the red zone, well then you lose contact with the main group of big favourites. To get back in there, it's always going to be difficult. You haven't that big long descent, you know, maybe 15 kilometres where you can take a bit of risk and try and get back, and then if you have a bit of flat in the valley to go to a finish, a total different scenario. But this one, you know, it's just a real difficult one all the way, and if there is your riders who are not feeling at their best, well, you could lose quite a lot of minutes.
It is Carapaz. He's way back almost to the front here. It's a very different looking path front. There's the descent here. Just see the banner up ahead for the climb itself again.
Yes, and Carapaz is still continue to fight here, although, you know, it is going to be a real difficult one. But remember the Vuelta when he was out in a breakaway, he got caught by the GC contenders, almost you could touch him out in front, and then he rode on and he got to the stage end and won the stage actually. So he's probably thinking something the same. You never give up until, you know, it's totally over, and you know we can see here, you know, he's fighting big time to get back there and see what will happen. But when you look at the organisation of the UAE team here, this is going to be, I think, you know, as we've said for so long during this stage, not going to be possible for these guys to hold on unless for some reason, yeah, if there's a mechanical problem, they have to slow down, they could pull the advantage out a bit more, but otherwise I can't see it happening for them today.
On to the Puy-Marie Pas-de-Pérolle. 13 minutes, 48 seconds, the fastest ever time, set by the man in yellow there, Tadej Pogacar, when he went away with Roglic. Breakaway was up the road when they were there in that autumn 2020 tour. The light was different, everything was different that year, wasn't it? But this, though, is looking very much like the other day. And look at Vingegaard here. He's moving up alongside Tadej Pogacar to be ready just in case.
Yes, and we see a number of kilometres, quite a few number of kilometres back, we could see Primoz Pogacar looked around and he could see the man who was just shadowing him all the time. Vingegaard was there, and I just wondered what he was saying to himself. Anytime he looks round, he's in his shadow. We can see again he is, getting on the wheel here, and that's what you've got to do, because when Pogacar goes, he has that explosive attack. You have to be in the wheel immediately, otherwise to close him down is a difficult one. Yeah, it looks like that we're going to see the same situation as we've seen from Pogacar, these real, very aggressive attacks, and when will that be? That is the question.
Sivakov still riding. He has taken 25 seconds out of the gap in a kilometre. Carapaz has reached the front again. He continues to fight the man from Carchi. Out the back goes Guillaume Martin. Another of those yo-yo days. This time the yo-yo staying low. It's going to be time lost today, and quite a bit for Guillaume Martin. This is Julien Bernard, who is in the breakaway alongside Martin in the end. 34 seconds. Just as I've talked about Vingegaard then, Roglic also moved up. Evenepoel is now sat on the wheel of Vingegaard. Behind Roglic, you can see Carlos Rodriguez. Lars de Plus. And Egan Bernal still there. Jorgensen sits behind Evenepoel. Pat on the backside there from Evenepoel to Landa. And Landa, with that pat on the back, starts to move up himself. It's fast, but it's cagey at the same time. There's a lot of nerves waiting for the moment when.
Well, if you're a rider in the GC standings, you have to just follow this train being set for the moment, because I think there's a lot of riders just happy with this and want to get further into the stage and get over this time certainly and see is there an opportunity. If there's a bit of rivalry between the bigger favourites for the guys that bit further down the GC, try and take advantage of it, but for the moment it's just very simple. Follow as UAE continue on to make this pace, and more riders there will take that road up. Just follow the wheels that you need to follow and just play that waiting game.
Sivakov, sensational today, continuing to ride. He's done it on all terrain. He was down the flat at the start. He's been on the climbs, pushing on the descents, and uphill here, where he goes best, he's doing damage. Kruijsbenoot is still there, alongside Jonas Vingegaard. Behind two more teammates for Vingegaard, including Matteo Jorgensen. This is Carapaz. Lascano at his wheel. Healy waits as well. 31 seconds of a lead. 3Ks to the top. That means now we're into that 5.5% average. That lasts for a kilometre. Then it goes up to 9.2%. Final K before the top at 14%. They're into the red already. It goes into the black near the top. They can see them up the road just about. Reminder, it's a first category climb this. King of the Mountains competition sees 10 points. The first to go over. But if it's cooking up like we think it is for UAE Emirates, question as to whether any of these three gets there. Sivakov still rides. Up the saddle he goes. How much is left to give? There's a toot on the beat on there for the number 13, Juan Ayuso. Will it be his turn next? Then you see Almeida. Adam Yates sits in front of Tadej Pogacar. The group's been thinned out, but nobody else losing contact for the minute. Time coming back, 27 seconds. Buitrago remains. Sean, answering your question from before, there is no Pello Bilbao.
No, I could not find him there quite a number of kilometres earlier, and he's not there. And yeah, we did see him earlier on the day. He is the one who was showing signs of, not on his best, and certainly when you're not good in the earlier part of the stage, sometimes you can rally around and, you know, to recover, but normally it's always going to be difficult, and over this sort of terrain, the day they've been through, it's not going to happen for Bilbao.
Yet again, Sivakov can dig deep and find the strength to get out the saddle and accelerate. Once more, it's strung out even more. Louis Meinke's hanging on the back now. There we go. Sivakov's done. It's Juan Ayuso time, and he's got to go to work. On to the steeper gradients we go.
Din yung aking wala, hindi ko makita.
Carapaz has emptied the tank. That's him cracked. He's gone. Now up to 9%. Ouitrago, the only survivor behind for Bahrain. I'm telling you early on, weren't we, that not everybody travelled to the start together today. There are a few riders with masks in the camp. Bilbao, seemingly one of those suffering. And we've just had confirmation we can't see him. So 9% average for the next kilometre. Just 18 seconds here. And the adventure is almost at an end. And this is moving on very quickly. Look at that. We're down to Yates now.
Huh?
What happened there? This, though, is Van Wilder.
Ngayon,
One
ngayon,
important man less
ngayon.
for Remco Evenepoel. And just in the 10 seconds we were looking at the front, something quite dramatic's changed there. Almeida
Ay,
sitting on
jumping
the
na.
wheel. Yuso still sitting further behind. Seemed to be a short, sharp turn, Sean. So short we didn't really see it.
No, it was a sharp one, but again, sometimes they decide, okay, if the rider's not maybe feeling at his best, the rider that should be doing late, and maybe decide, okay, I'll do it on this one, and you know, knock it back a bit and wait for a bit later on. So it can, between the riders, and when you're all together there in the front in one bubble, well, then you can do it. We can see Ayuso here. He's starting to slip back off of this group here. Doesn't look comfortable at the moment, and yeah, that's an interesting one. Maybe he just wasn't keeping the pace high enough.
But whatever short damage he did was quite substantial, because Hindley's out the back as well. And the gap's now just 10 seconds, with Adam Yates closing in. In fact, it's less than 10 seconds. They're almost on them. And before we get to the steepest gradients close to the top, this now is where it's all going to happen. Hindley, confirmation he's out the back. The note is going with him. Hanging on just about his Meinke's. So Roglic is isolated and all alone in that front group now. There is Meinke's. This is Steph Kras. Now here losing contact. Same with Gal, Enric Mas, Juan Ayuso. There's going to be changes in the top 10 in the general classification.
Ano nila pag tsagayin mo yung ano ko, suns ko. May suns ko.
Ouitrago still there.
Hindi ba siya pwede sa bike?
Fighting the hold but just losing the wheel. It's Yates, it's Pogacar, it's Almeida. Then you have Vingegaard. Wilco Kelderman's still there for him alongside Jorgensen. Roglic also remains with Carlos Rodriguez. Giulio Ciccone stands to gain today. And Healy hanging on, the last man out there. So strong. But today seems to no avail without prize.
Wala ba talaga? Ibig sabihin, hindi siya di-judge. Hindi saksak.
Missing. Javier Romo being dropped. Dallas fighting, Ayuso still working at it as well, but they're not quite there. Looking down here, Landa remains with Evenepoel. There's Jorgensen at the back. Kelderman has disappeared. Ciccone, Rodriguez, Evenepoel, Roglic, Vingegaard, Almeida. Yates working, Pogacar waiting, and the gradients now consistently for the next kilometre to the top are at 14% average. This is a horror climb, Sean.
Well, you can see the gradients there, and the way they have been tackling this time from the very earlier parts. You know, as you go further up, you're just going to get into difficulty, and we can see the riders, the climbers that are in difficulty. This is just a real killer, and we're still just, you know, a kilometre still to go, but the gradient they've been through, it is going to really test here, and At what point will we see an attack? Because 30 kilometres out, it's a long ways, but we can see the lines up there, and the man Pogacar with Vingegaard in his wheel, and the rest.
Almeida is starting to slip a little bit on the right-hand side. It's Jorgensen who's hanging on at the back. Healy is caught, the brake's done. Up to Virage Balde, they'll be out of party in a moment when he arrives. That's 5 minutes off though. It's the stars, the new next generation at the Tour de France though, who are leading us up this at warp speed. 800 metres to the top. That is quite the sight. And Adam Yates in fine form. There will be legs screaming in this group. This is Simon Yates alongside Derek G, who's been dropped. And now Matteo Jorgensen. First sign of weakness for him. It's Kelderman who's also being dropped here. Almeida losing the wheel now. It's not always quite in the order, as you said, Sean, for the UAE Dream Team. But one by one, they're doing their job. They are putting so much hurt in, and here goes Pogacar. Now, can anyone follow? There's a look straight away around from Vingegaard, and it's Roglic who will try, and this time it's Evenepoel who's in a little bit of trouble. Hello.
And Vingegaard, of course, he looks around there, he waits for Pogacar to try and close this one. That tells that he's also not in the best shape here, because normally he try and follow Pogacar for a while. Sometimes you see him knocking it off a bit, but for the moment he is just riding tempo here, and this is going to be an interesting one as we go inside the final 400 metres of this one. But yeah, let's not forget 31 kilometres is a long ways to go, the descent. To do it alone, it will take a big ride here, but this is one man can do that.
Roglic looking better today. He's getting better as the race goes on, it seems, and the podium is in play because Evenepoel has lost a little bit of ground here. Roglic is following Vingegaard, and now Roglic on the right as we look at it. Is he able to follow Vingegaard fully? Let's see. I'm not sure. Vingegaard starting to gap Roglic, and it's the top two right at the top again as Vingegaard is closing on Pogacar. A reminder that the bonus seconds don't come here. They're on the next climb. There's a rather famous descent coming up. Not for great reasons either. Broke his leg on the descent in the crash with Yuri Vollenbroek back in 2011. This is Pogacar. He's trying to put the pain on the rest. Vingegaard immediately hesitated, but he's showing he's up for the fight as well. We're going over the top, and we saw the other day in the mighty mountains, that's where Pogacar could put more time into them. Roglic, third on the road. Evenepoel just behind him. It's man against man against man. It's the big four, but they're all separated by a question of meters.
Ayun ang dahilan ba't nag-trip yung drag eh.
7 seconds to Vingegaard. Roglic over the top. Here comes Evenepoel, and the rest are just picking up the crumbs. 30 kilometres to go. It's a long way from the finish. Still plenty of climbs to come, but this stage is turning into another epic Sean Kelly.
Yes, and not surprising that we will see the gaps appear between the big favourites because of the difficulty of the stage, the way they tackle this climb, and we can see now all individual on the road here, and it's going to be a time trial for the next number of kilometres. We can see it's not going down immediately, it's on the plateau here, so again it's going to be about the power they've got for quite a bit here, and we can see Vingegaard at 12 seconds. It'll be interesting to see the other men who are chasing here, will they all come together and be able to ride behind this man, the sole leader on the road, the yellow jersey, Tadej Pogacar.
You have to hand it to Pogacar. He's a born racer, an entertainer. But he wants time before the bigger climbs come. We're seeing glimpses of Vingegaard being firmly in the game. On his weaker days, he's limited his losses. This is what UAE is saying about what just happened. Exactly what he's done.
And that was interesting, watching the faces and the hesitation and reaction. Roglic was the first one to go. Vingegaard has then put time into him. Evenepoel, by the way, is at 30 seconds here. Well, with Jonas Vingegaard, 12 seconds behind. Not too many technical parts on this descent, it's rapid. And here comes Roglic, straight back to Vingegaard. Right away. 14 seconds on the
Isang love story na.
the next climb where he gets the first chance to take some bonus seconds. It is the yellow jersey all alone. The Tour de France.
Ano dyan?
Not decided today. It certainly could be a key day in making the decision as to who wears yellow in Nice. Stage was set for that intriguing drama. Sean, what do you make of the first act? It doesn't look like the final lines of the script have been read yet.
Well, it will be an interesting one because everybody is giving their all here, and you could see there on the previous climb, you know, they all were in difficulty, and yeah, they had to ride here as well. But the advantage is now for Pogačar and Vingegaard together. You know, they can share this pace, even though it's on, you know, a little bit of a downhill, but still it's not, you know, a majorly fast one. So a little bit of recovery for Vingegaard here, and then he will take the front. That is going to be an interesting one. We'll see what the advantage will be as we get further down. And what are we, 12 kilometres roughly before we go to the next climb, or the top of the next climb. But yeah.
Not on the way, go on, dig deep.
Dig deep, and that's what everybody's got to do here. Just dig deep all the way to the finish in this final 27 kilometres here. And it's going to be an interesting one. Evenepoel, as we can see again, on the descents, not as good descender as the other two just out in front here, and also to the yellow jersey. But this is going to be a race all the way to the line.
At the minute, he's shifting around 20 seconds to Vingegaard and Roglic. Still be enough to keep Evenepoel in second place on the podium at the moment. But still, with 26 days to go and 2 more climbs. Pogačar is pulling it out, even on those other two are chasing. 18 seconds. Next one up is the second category, called the Virtus. Not as hard as the Brunei, but if you think back to that stage that was won from the break by Jack Van Avermaet in 2016, that's where he dropped Thomas to Kent. When the legs are good, the riders are good enough, differences can be made.
Magkailan ba yun?
We know what this man can do, just about anywhere.
Magkailan kayo niya, no?
One stage when it was still. He really had one mountain stage. It's more of a hilly epic for now as behind Roglic. Put it back down to 10 seconds to take it.
Kala ko piyesa mo pala ng saging pala mo.
See here in this group you've got Adam Yates, Joao Almeida, Julio Ciccone, and it looks to be Carlos Rodriguez. 25 seconds. So this group themselves have brought time back on Pogačar. Although the timing is doing that thing where it just counts down, I think we might see it disappear in a minute. Always difficult to get down to the motorbikes, having to be where they have to be for safety, of course. If we get on to the climb in a moment, we'll have a better look. But each and every rider fighting for their position. That's Rodriguez, who
They've just gone ahead of Evenepoel there, and again, Evenepoel on the descent as those time gaps come back in, and they have grown. They have grown. Pogačar is actually continuing to put time into everybody, but that almost ended in tears.
Yes, so that is the problem here. We can see the yellow jersey, Pogačar, he's going down. He has no motorbike in front of him. We can see the race direction car up in front, but quite a long ways ahead. The other groups you could see there's motorbikes in front of him and in front of some of the groups, and that is an advantage because
kulitin mo, may dilaw sa harapan mo. Taas. Taas pa, taas.
And that can help. He can gain a couple of seconds with that advantage.
We just saw Pogačar on the radio there as well. 20 seconds further back. Leroy and Roglic. Roglic doing most of the pace setting on the descent. Teammates remember as recently as last year. From apprentice behind. Of course, it's the apprentice who's twice.
Nakamove na ako
3.5 Ks from the bottom now of the Col de Belt. Big lead on the left hand side. Means bonus. It's the third of the 4 bonus points we have at this Tour de France, by the way. Next doesn't come until next week in stage 17. 8, 5 and 2 seconds for the first 3 riders to come across the top of the Col de Belt.
We have seen the yellow jersey here. He's looking down at his chain ring or his chain there a number of times. You can see he's just taken a glance down on that, and that'll be an interesting one just to keep an eye on.
He was on the radio as well, wasn't he? Just on the last shot we saw of him, when we saw the replay of him almost coming a cropper. Maybe not happy with something mechanically. He's still putting time into these two though.
Yun na nakabuo siya isa. Kaya pala trip to yun. Yung sa kabila yung breaker na dyan.
Yung lang nakapasok.
Ayun, pumili daw.
Ito yung pinakabakot ng
Behind from the reigning champion.
Baka. Titingnan din natin
Group according to those time gaps. Just over
Napalitan na.
Oo, yan yun. Bago yun.
And in the meantime, it's party time up at Vierhuiswalde.
Dali na yan eh.
Long way to say goodbye.
Mag-ano, tawag ka naman.
Hindi ko lang igutan na
Yung pinatay ko siya, patay na dyan muna. May patawag ka siya. Ba't namumuti iba po rito? Sabi ko. Wala, nagyayin yun. Sabi ko siya, bro, huwag mo na marami. Ano yun?
Not too far from home in Newville.
Isip ka lang, naman tayo. Anay ko ba kami nila? Bibili nga ako na. Wala tayo. Tyrot niya. Meron pa isa rito yung ano. Ganda ng katawan. Sira yun. Para sulit.
Oh, don't stop, Romain. There might be a few Swiss francs going your way. Poor Julien Bernal the other day.
Ay, kapal eh.
They'll do that again to another rider. Now then, back to the serious stuff of the front. Pogačar set to have 30 seconds on these two now. 35 to Evenepoel go.
Bakit siya?
Let's see what happens.
High blood ka kasi siya.
Sabi ni,
Sabi ni Sir Nick.
sabi ni Bok.
Oo, sabi mo sa kanya. Sinabihan pa naman ako ng high blood ka kasi sir eh, kaya hindi ka agad ang sabi sa akin gano'n. Sabi ko sige sir, yaman mo sir, magkaroon ko sa kanya.
Almost came a cropper on the descent.
Kaya hindi naman si Buka po.
He's been looking down at the chain and the
Siyempre ako si
gears,
Sir Nick ako.
but he's motoring.
Para malaman ninyo.
Returns, and he's up the hill looking for those 8 bonus seconds. 35 seconds behind you. Now have a group
Amo mo yun, sabi mo
Evenepoel
gano'n.
and Roglic.
just joined by Evenepoel, Ciccone, Rodriguez, but also two teammates.
Pinagkakaisahan siya ng dalawa.
Teammates.
Oo, sila yung kasi yun.
Put that
Ito
in
kasi,
place.
ano yun yun.
Almeida and Yates.
Ay, alam na.
May tempo kasi yun na kakalabawin niya yung dito din. Basta kukuman pa yung dalawa, nagkukuman pa
Well, they have to get organised and once again, you know, there's a number of
Siyempre,
players
hindi
here
hayaan mo.
with
Ano
interest
mo
in
mangyari sa
riding
trabaho?
the
Gawa
yellow
nila yun.
kit this time
Yeah,
after the yellow jersey. We can see that 34 seconds it's creeping out a little bit. But
Yeah,
then
happy
all
sa
this
kanya.
time there's
Kaya na
a
sinasabi
top of
ko
the
sa'yo,
descent and more
Hanapin
of a
ka na
descent where you
natin
have to
dati,
push a
eh.
bit more. Then there's a little bit of a flat section in the valley as well. So all of that will be advantage to the chasers, the group there that are further back behind the yellow jersey. But will they rise together? Will they cooperate together? Some will, but some want to just get carried along. And of course, yeah, the teammates of Pogacar, they're going to just sit on the rear here and allow those riders to do what they can.
Bigyan ng report, another.
Then you have Rodriguez, fifth last year. Gelderman. After losing time too today. Almost lost the bike for under it.
Hindi na maganda ang banding yung dalawa. Ay, nang grupo nila. Sabihan ko na sira yung hapon. Ay, ayusin niya doon. Dito, ano man yung mangyari, magkakasama kayo.
We can see, well, on the climb it doesn't look a lot. You can see some of the cars just further up here, but again, when you get to the top, as we see with Pogacar and Vingegaard, you know, on the climb he didn't look to be that far, but you come over the top and the ride you're chasing is going out of sight. Roglic and Vingegaard riding.
So make sure you can recover a little bit on the descent, because on the next climb you can catch him again. Come on.
That's the aim of the game here. According to the time, that's not touching much.
Ayaw kami ni Ma'am Leia. Sino magkakatok ng load mo? Bago mag-tres
Offered a drink.
pwede mo sa blog. Automatic na yun sinabalan.
Taking. These are the chasers, and there's a gap forming with them. Evenepoel holding on this time.
Gusto ka mo nabanggitin yun.
Rodriguez and Co losing contact. So Evenepoel fighting hard, despite looking the weaker of the
Nakalo
big
ka
four
kasi
behind.
ng 14 days dito.
Back again, Sean.
Ako, tulad ng bago babaw ko dito. Palit pa ako ng OT.
It's an interesting one now to see what he will do here, but you can see immediately Carlos Rodriguez making that effort to get across. When you get on to the next line, they're going to pay, but we can see Remco also starting to lose a little bit of ground here, and further back we can see Carlos Rodriguez. Looks like that this man Vingegaard is getting into the little bit better here, and certainly limit the losses, although 33 seconds still.
Di ba 31?
There's still quite a long ways to go when you get over this one, as I said. A lot of road players also difficult for a sole rider.
Saan natin yung pili yun?
But we know the man in front, he can just
Pwede
twist
mo
right
din
on
sila
with
yung
the
video ko. Sumubra sa akin.
You are
Simula
trying to
ako.
go for
28
apartment.
28 yung simula. Takot lang yun.
3Ks to go for Pogacar. Roglic sitting on in the road here. Evenepoel, as you said, seeding again. It's his first real off-colour day. Just at the limit of damage. 39 seconds turns to 40 now. And here is the white choice. Currently second at 33 seconds back.
Kinabukasan, pinihima ko yun yung jeep. Ayun ano.
No short of encouragement for him.
Yung sakra.
More for this man.
Sir, i-deliver ko na ngayon.
5 seconds to Vingegaard, Roglic. Yes,
Sunod
you
na
know,
ako
there's some around a bit, of course, so it's difficult to know exactly, you know, we get a pretty,
Wala na, kumuha na sa iba.
a view of what, you know, the distance is, but still we can see it's hopping around a bit, but yeah, we can see Vingegaard, he's getting into the rhythm.
Kuha na ako sa iba.
His advantage is coming back a bit, and we can see also the terrain here, you know, not as difficult as the previous one where the digits were up, you know, majorly high when you did go in the attack. So, it's
Ah,
It's all about just keep on walking
Ano
on
yun,
at your limit
yung
here. Don't go into the red as we have from
celebration
Jumbo,
ng celebration ng
Visma, Lisa
pamangkin ko.
Bike. Just keep on walking. Remember though to descend, and there is quite a lot of road to be ridden before we get to the next line. So much
Labas
going
tayo.
on.
Mamaya, pauwi tayo.
On the line, here's Matt.
Labasan yung sakit ko. Sa BYLG.
Time of their
Ano mga
belts.
problema, Che?
The penultimate climb today with the
Pauwi na
turbo
kami.
list, and there was a little flag that just indicates
Oh,
the
ba't
wind
di mo na?
direction.
Nagkahalap ang trabaho
It is a
ngayon.
tailwind for the vast
Baka
majority
magtanong
of
mo
this
sa
time.
ka. Sabi ko,
Real will
kami mo problema niyan.
riders and an individual.
Ang aling,
Big tailwind is only going to
Kaya po,
help
sabi mo nga
the
gano'n.
actual run up this climb.
Lumabas ako sa wave ako eh. Hindi, siyempre, pauwi ka na. Biglang
Continue to do that.
ipipilit nila yung trabaho iba. Magkatmaga. Kaya
Quicker
nga.
than Roglic, and just as it looks as though for the first time in this tour, he was able to be up with his former teammate.
Ito, ano pa sabi sa'yo? Ano pa mabili ka?
Vingegaard showing us once again that despite that huge
Sinabihan ka?
setback, those awful moments of worry at the end of the path, will he, won't he? Oh yes, he will. He's here, he's in the game,
Ang alam ko sa mabili, ginagawa nila yun, ano, repiping na ano, kaunti.
20 seconds to Vingegaard and closing.
Kaya sana ako leksyon eh, kaya lang, bawal
Roglic
naman
seeding
sa'yo.
10. In the pool, only 25 seconds behind
Yung lahat
Vingegaard.
ng, ano, katas ng lechon sa plato, susundutin mo.
And still 2.3 Ks to the top.
Imbis na pa,
The rate at which Vingegaard was riding, he could get
May nakita ko nag-vlog sa TV. Si ano, idol, yung idol na tagkapang kapapangan, yung luluto, good morning, mga boss. O yun, yung vlog mo. Ayun, good morning, yung
As I mentioned, Vingegaard was
habang
not
nagluluto.
the
Katabang
advantage
yung kinakain
when
nyo,
you have a rider taking a
pinipipin
little
niya.
bit of a pull on the front,
Di,
giving that bit of
matakam ka.
shelter, but also
Tapos yung nakain na niya yung mga tropa niya,
this,
ayun na, pati
going a
matanda.
bit better, and
Bigla
this,
naglabas
going
ng
to be
ano,
an
Los
interesting
Santos.
one because
Sabi niya,
this man, he has to
Oo,
limit his losses
kala ko
well
nagbibiro.
here, try and get all the top as
Pala.
quickly as possible.
Hindi pala kumain ng matataba yun.
Staying
Tapos,
with Vingegaard,
katit
that
ka
will be
rin
a
yung
really
ano.
interesting one as we go into the
Sartan
final
ka
here. But
muna.
it looks like we're all very
Sartan ka
like
muna.
we're all
Kain mo sila.
Kain mo na.
Oo, mas may
Mga
mga
Chinese,
all
makain ng mga
this down.
matataba. May mga ano pa nga sila sibuyas,
Like the
bawang.
shot.
Akala ko nagbibiro, talagang pagtapos kumain, paglaw sartan.
Pinukontra na agad nila. Hindi pa natutulang. Pakontra na.
Hindi nga, sanayin ko sarili ko.
He's set forth on the road at the
Hindi
minute
kumain ng
47
mataba.
seconds. It's what the virtual team looks
Hanggang ikaw kajit.
getting close to the second place.
Hindi, napanood ko eh. May blood, kumain ng taba, oh. Sabi, sundot ko na.
Kilometre to the top of the penultimate climb of the day, the Col de Pertus. It's the first of the four bonus points of this trip. 8 extra seconds up for grabs here for whoever goes over the top first. Can that April
Iba yan, yung pala sumig, eh. Sakit naman yun.
towards the top of the Punet.
Ulo ng tangke.
He took on the descent alone.
Hindi pa naman
Has been climbing on his
ano
own.
yun. Sakit
A
naman
two-time defending champion who wants another tour after a hat-trick. He's showing he's
Problema na
riding
to,
really
Will.
well.
Hindi.
He's getting the following
Ito.
message from his team.
Yan.
Hmm.
Ito yan. Ito ang problema niya.
Oo, matay yung
Stop struggling. Come on, just
Ano nga yun eh. Yung malalaglag na bago. Hindi ba ito?
What message is to get across? They know him, know what he needs to hear.
nagbili ko lang ano.
Set here for Pogacar.
Yung kinabit namin sa 2-0, galing dito yun eh. Sa ilalim nito.
He might have just
Sige
seen
lang
him for
dyan,
the first
gugulo
time
niya.
there.
Galing dyan oh. Sinalpak namin ko.
Alam ko kanina, tinanggal ko.
Roglic in the meantime is going
Alam
to
ko
be
kanina
within the pool.
rectifier tayo. Ngayon di ko lang rectifier ko. Parang ano lang, the system lang. Hanap ko kung saan mga ano, rectifier tayo. Pag ganito rin yung
All right, like he
rectifier.
was at the
Sa mga sounds.
but the one he won, but at the Dauphiné.
Tingin ko
Sort of
lang
in
ako
charge
lang
of his
sa
own
inyo.
rhythm, and that's what he's good at. I think he's matured a lot as a rider there, Sean.
Yes, well, they know how they can ride, what power output they can do here, and
Shorted to
you
ah.
know,
You cannot
Wala, hindi.
go
Yung pala to sa
overboard
loob.
because if you
Tapos
do
ito,
that, well then you're totally in
assistant.
the
Parang
red and
ano po,
you're not going to
tawag ko sa
recover
pista
from
mo
it.
sa ano,
To make the
roll-on.
descent in a situation like that, it's not the way you want to be. So
Hindi yung sa
you
pyesa
have
ng
to
power
just,
supply sa
walk
may tawag doon na
to your limits, and that's what
supply
you've
ng
been doing here.
1
But
tapos dito
yeah, unfortunately, the riders out
Hindi
in
sa
front,
pag-
they're able to walk that bit stronger, and that is always the difficulty. And when you're 15 kilometres out as well, you always have to remember that with another little climb before we get to the finish to do, they will be made aware of all that. But this man, he's looking around a bit. I think he feels that
Tapos sila ito siya, no?
he's
Tayo
not
siyang switching sa loob.
maybe
Ano ba kuha
running
din
as well
sa
he
TV?
would like
Tunay.
to be. He can, see, I think, Vingegaard in the distance when he looks around
Tunay
here.
yung TV ngayon,
That's
di ba?
definitely not good for the morale.
Sa-
As
sa-
we can see
sa-
here, he has an insight.
Yung screen.
Oo.
The team working one by one.
Ikaw na si Jojo.
Dream
Anong
team
banda?
doing the job
Yan,
like
ano
they did in
na?
the Alps.
Yung screen kasi.
But they still really can't shake Vingegaard too much. And we're not
Yun,
even in
baka
his
kaya
chosen
nila yung
territory.
screen.
May binanggit si Willie Gapon eh. Naro yun. Ano sa ano?
Ikon.
Started the day with a minute and
Ikon.
15 on
Sa ilang.
Vingegaard.
Ikon.
If he can
Oh,
hold on these
pagka
final
ano,
500
Pwede
meters,
pa.
if not,
Baklas na natin doon. Paparito yun.
Ako, nasa kwarto pa eh. Hindi eh.
Ano sabi
Hindi
ni
naman
Guys?
si LCD.
Wala, parang nagpaalam na yung guys na anytime mo ano. In case of ano,
Baka
labas sila ron.
kanila.
15 k's to the finish.
Pero problema lang yung wheel, kayang-kaya ko na yun. Tikoy.
Coming up before 1:30.
Uy, tikoy sa'yo. Tikoy, akin yun.
On the ground. The final descent before the little rise to the line could catch someone out. It's technical, very easy to get wrong, she said.
Ewan ka po.
Try before then.
Wala lang ko nito. Kasi ano po si Jacket? Si Jacket din ito.
200 meters to the top. 8 seconds on. And Vingegaard's closing.
Sino naghanap?
Sergio.
Nasa ba?
This will be a morale killer, wouldn't it?
Yes, there will be a
Kaya mo,
difficult
humingi ka
one
ba
for
jacket?
Jersey, Tadej Pogačar, because the way he struck off there was expected to go all the way. The only concern I had that the group getting together behind it, they managed to stay together, but here we are, we've been pulled back here. This is
Kasi
going
yun,
to
mas
be
kabisado yun.
interesting
Yun,
to know for the
may napatid siya yun, hindi niya kasi nakakabit.
yeah.
Kung nakatayo.
This man has done a great ride here. And when this yellow jersey went in the attack, he didn't
Ano
panic. Here
natin
we
yung
go.
sample.
Pogačar still wants the seconds. Vingegaard is
Ang galing
there.
ito.
Pogačar using that
Ah,
power
sa
he
switch
has.
yan.
Vingegaard getting
Ito.
close though. They're not quite up the
Switch.
line yet.
Ah, yung
Around
dito.
they come. And Pogačar was pushed all the way. That's his natural territory, but he was still pushed to the line now. 8-4 Pogačar.
Lang naman yun, di ba?
Vingegaard.
Ano yan?
Yes, and that is, very little for the amount of work he's put in. 3 seconds gained on this man with the
Limit
big
mo sa tubig.
all over the yellow jersey. And the morale, it's not going to be a good one for him to be fully back with the advantage he had there. So this is going to be an exciting fight. Now, will they ride together, or will they, play that game where Vingegaard, doesn't want to ride? We have to wait and see as we come onto the descent.
Let's have a look because once upon a time this was Roglic's bread and butter. But now it's Evenepoel who just drives through to take the 2 seconds. Roglic missing out on bonuses. 47 back on the road. Can they do anything about that? Here is with Madame Bernal. Pulling along. The day, remember. Still up.
Yung kailan pa rin ano eh, yung implement ng ano.
Yan nga eh.
35.
Kaya nag-implement.
Sabi ng mga guardia sa kabila, kasi
How do they play it?
kanila,
All the
ganun.
talk of the big four, but really we've just seen, despite the incidents, injuries,
Tapos ito pala yun, si Willie.
speculation,
15 days na nakagiging sa papel eh.
two at
After
this Tour
15
de
days.
France.
Ano siya? Probe na siya nun, ano siya?
Probe, pagka, ano bang nakalagay sa papel niya?
Nakagiging sa papel.
Yun yun eh, 15 days akong 15 days akong
Trial.
training eh.
Training. Pero, tapos, ano ka na yan na yan.
Kung tapos ng 15 days yun, decision lang doon.
Yes, oo. Tapos,
45
3 months, ano ka. Bali 6 months.
that Jonas Vingegaard,
Pagkatapos
Ano
ng
po, 5
6.
months lang.
if the race were to finish here,
Ito, 3 months, 3 months eh.
second on the podium,
3 months yung ano mo. 3 months, tapos 3 months ulit.
There's still plenty to come.
Okay na, hindi ka mananag.
Pag nire-contact ka.
Getting closer, isn't he,
Wala
to the
naman
jersey?
kapapigil pa dito eh.
Dire-diretso
Sa
lang.
Sa probi ka dito.
Basta 6 months, kung wala kang,
Bird tells me he's got it there and into the jersey.
kaya na ending yung ano niya.
He said that it's
Dapat
definitely something
6 months lang, regular ko na sa dapat eh.
still makes a better fist of it.
Paborito niya ang paborito niyang tao.
Here we go,
Pinigil
virtual
niya.
GC, confirmation of what we're talking about.
Sila din nga. yung
Liverpool
pinigil.
up into second place, 118.
Buti nga, di pa ako high blood ng panahon na yun. eh.
Oo.
Liverpool would be dropping.
Nahidol ka nun, ikaw pa na.
Hindi, kung sakaling high blood na ako, hindi ko siguro natigil.
All those electric car drivers in Norway and Denmark will be getting word because the special offer has ended. 1 krona per kilowatt hour every day that
6
Jonas
months pa,
Haldam
oo ka lang
is in
na.
that jersey. He will still be wearing it tomorrow, I think. However, he will no longer be in charge of the plan.
Yung pala, mangyayari sa ano din. Ang sabi, magkano yun?
So just under 12
11
days
ba
to
ang
go.
ano?
Halfway down
Hindi
the
muna, yung stay muna, stay topic mo tayo. Yung stay ng offer mo.
technical descent.
Nilagay doon sa isang mga. Ibig mo nang change the end. Change isip. Uwi na lang daw siya. Kasi may 2,000 dadagdag. Ang tanong ngayon daw, kung
Well, there's certainly
Yung
an opportunity, but again,
Hindi, ito
we will
sinabi
be
mo
able
yun.
to
Ito
distance
tinawag
the
mo
other
ni
one because
Robert natin sa...
we see on that time they've just been over.
magiging interesting na siya.
It looks like that Vingegaard
Kasi hindi ka naman
seems to be
magstay.
a little bit better.
Tapos yun, paano yung press niya? Isang quincenas lang ba yun? O tuloy-tuloy yung 6 months yun? Yes.
So yun, 6 months.
months, yes.
Sa ano, ano ka pa mga, ano,
Model si Bok. Magtiis din doon. Maganda rin, no?
Yeah, they're working quite well together,
Yes,
but
yun,
we
eh.
can see they're 48 seconds back.
Tres
at
na
the
ilang buwan.
of Remco
Tres
and
ng tres eh.
Roglic. So that
Tres
will be
lang,
another
isang buwan eh.
interesting one because you can see where we are at the moment.
Magtiis
The
yung ilang buwan na
terrain,
gano'n.
if you work
Minimum na
really
isang
well together, you could pull back in that back
Hindi ka
here.
na.
And we know Remco, he gets into
Ano
that
yung maraming sinturon
position
doon?
and we could see this
Sinturon
gap coming down
yung sa mga
over
apat
to
na anak ko. Kay tatay, sa bayo ko.
Para saan?
Parang ako tinangkay.
5 seconds down.
Yung ako pamili.
Higpitan yung mga siguro nyo. Wala pa tayo.
Hindi ba ako nakasideline ng linggo? Patay kami.
The remaining clients,
Tuloy ko pa alam, sideline.
third category clients.
Tulog. Ito ba yun ko?
If you're Pogacar then, Sean,
Huwag
how
yan,
do you
mahina
play
yan.
the final climb? What do you do?
Yan.
Well, I think you just
Sabi mo naman yan,
keep on
huwag
riding,
Ito.
not giving your 100% of
Sa TV yan,
course,
manipis lang yan.
and try and get to the end and see what you can do against this man. But it depends on how you are feeling, and if you feel you're getting better as you go further into the stage, well then you can try and attack and see what the reaction will be. But you know, what we've got left, I don't think is difficult enough to separate those guys because we've seen they are quite close, in that explosive is that bit better, but I think he is maybe that little bit more tiring than the man we see him being following here at the moment.
You just see the two riders following
May tao ba yun? Tingnan natin kung ito.
right at the top of your screen. It's Roglic and Evenepoel who are sharing the work. Rodriguez at 1.5 kilometers. He's at 1 minute 26. Adam Yates at 2.5 minutes. Pogacar 3. So then, uphill we go again. 2 and 3% for the first kilometre. Thankfully, they both made the climb. They've been pushing it. Vingegaard and Pogacar, and a bit short sight at the Tour de France. One of them's usually in yellow. This time it's Pog, looking to do the double. Pretty in pink for all of May, and now being followed by Roglic, and an Evenepoel who almost went as wide as Pogacar. There are 36 seconds between the two groups. As it stands, Evenepoel is just about saving second place. Never happens today. For the rest of this stage, this tour continues.
building beautifully to the Pyrenees at the weekend. Nobody's managed to blow the other away, despite the continual left jabs for the 11 days now since we started. Not a sign of a right hook just yet. There is a flick of the elbow there. Try hesitates, then comes to the front. And this time does get steep. To around 7% maximum gradient, but close to the top. The average is much closer to 5%. Pogačar might just be doing exactly what you told him to do there.
Yes, well, I think both, we can see the way they are looking at each other, and we can see Vingegaard, he's just looking at Pogačar when he's probably going to take his shot on the front. And, yeah, they are having a close eye on each other to see what way they are looking. You can see the same back here with the two chasers, but it looks like that's, Remco here, he's probably pulling a bit more, as we can see. Roglic here, the wheel, just pulling spaces a bit. Further back the road here, we can see these group of Ciccone and the man from Ineos, Rodriguez. They are quite a bit down, 129 at the moment. So it's all about now just limiting the losses for a lot of the riders here that are further back. But Ciccone, he's doing a really strong ride to be in the back to the Remco Roglic group, and it will be interesting to see, will the two men out front here, will they start attacking each other, or will they just continue riding all the way to the finish and try and just duke it out of the sprint?
Ciccone stands to gain quite a lot there. He started the day in 13th place at 5:35. Will be on his way towards the top 10 if he carries on riding like this. Premier's was in that Rodriguez group, by the way. They've got the names on the graphics wrong. Buitrago, who is at 2:38. 35 seconds and holding it. Amazingly, professional cycling show that Pogačar has never lost a two-up sprint in any race he's ever ridden in the pros. It's what it stands to be if they carry on riding together. 6.7 k's to go. Getting on all the way up the final categorised time of the day on a day that has not stopped providing action. Almost 100 kilometres to form a breakaway. When it came, it was never given a prayer by UAE team Emirates. But Pogačar was set up to go. Go he did, immediately distancing his rivals. But Jonas Vingegaard there has shown fight and bite, power, class, and the fact that despite the poor preparation and the worries in the spring, he is here and ready to try and make a hat-trick of wins at the Tour. Sits on the wheel of Pogačar. It looks as though riding together, they've managed just to increase their lead ever so slightly on Evenepoel and Roglic to 1:38. They both stand to gain something here on the rest, but on each other, whatever happens, if they're together, sure, it's going to be a matter of a handful of seconds.
It's going to be, I think, a difficult winner for the Vingegaard, because the yellow jerseys, they hit out today, and when Pogačar attacked in the Prix Pas de Ferrol, it looked like he was going to put a bit of time into this man, the defending champion here from Visma Boys, but he worked his way back, and the previous time seems to be the strongest one. And you can see here they're working quite well together, with everybody starting to feel the effects of this change. I think fatigue is all over the place on this final time. And now it's a one where I think Case versus Edvard Brad here, and that is the case for
Tadej Pogacar to try and get the bonus at the finish line and try and get the stage win, of course. And it looks like that, 38 seconds back to this group here of Remco and Roglic. They're not going to get back in there before we get to this fight for the stage win. So, yeah, and as you say, Rob, this man in the yellow, he is the faster one. But again, at the end of a very difficult stage, is he tiring quite a lot? That is the question. So this man here, the defending champion, might give him a good run for the stage win.
Finishes like this, Roglic would be just a couple of minutes from the podium. Swapping positions, second and third. A reminder that 8 bonus seconds have already gone to Pogacar today. 5 have gone to the man who just has a word with Pogacar there. You'll not think of go. Reminder they know each other well as big rivals. So it's only a 3-second difference for Pogacar. Sean was talking about this maybe even if they came together and Pogacar presumably keeping his unbeaten roll of winning all the 2-up sprints in his career so far. Over 10 of them, by the way. That would only be what? How many bonus seconds? 7 for Pogacar on winning all. That would be a heck of a lot of work for just that, wouldn't it?
Well, when you consider the work the team have been doing today, and I think there are 2 poles that they will want to take time from the defending champion, but they are going to take some time through the qualifications that he's picked up already, and very possibly could win this sprint for the stage win and take a number of seconds more. But again, when you did go into the attack, I was concerned that Jonas Vingegaard was going to lose that, maybe 20, 30 seconds, and that would be, a big morale booster for the other girls, because right away alone at this point in the race, and not on the longer times, but the man here, the defending champion, is really defending well. And we're all thought is that he's going to get better as this race go on, and that is the reason that UAE made it so difficult for Vingegaard today. So make it very, very difficult. Tiring out before we got into the difficult part of the stage. But he has rallied very well here, and I think that will give him a deep boost of confidence here the way we come back to the other day.
I'm talking of the stories. That's the entire time they had for that sprint. A nightmare year with injuries and a lack of luck. What a story this would be if it wasn't turned around. And we will do the business again. That's only starting to be risk. So Pogacar is very much still in first here. A reminder, he leads Vingegaard by a minute and 15 seconds. A minute and 18 with those bonuses added in right now. Still going to go to the Pyrenees. There's the up, there's the time side. Rough spot for a ball that you will not be able to take your eyes off for the next 3 seconds. On the side of the road. And our next goal hero with the number 1 on his back is responding beautifully to all of the pressure that's been put on him today. 20 seconds now. Got the Liverpool and the Roglic. It tops out just under 3K to go, by the way. And to the descent that takes us to 600-700 metres to the line. And then it's uphill for the last 700 metres. 7% to the finish.
Pwede pa rin?
Written on the right. Not just by
assert themselves on those last lines. They've got another before they take on the final descent.
Good, good.
450 metres to the top of this last line of the day.
301, sige 301.
In the second longest stage of the Tour de France.
Dito ba yun sa atin?
4,300 climb, but a very different way of taking on that climb. Hardly a metre of flat all day. Up and down, left and right. The rugged terrain of the Jheski. A reminder for Pogačar and about that electric climb to nothing. Pogačar tried to repeat the feat. Roglic here was left to follow. Has Evenepoel become to 36 seconds now and trying to limit losses. Dampen any damage. Yellow jersey will be staying there today. Just pushing over the top. Pogačar, by the way, the new king of the mountains today. Another point here. Vingegaard over first. So quick descent. We were hearing from Hannah Shawn that there are a couple of technical points. They're all on the edge and the limit of tiredness. They've got to keep everything upright here before what we expect to be a two-up sprint to the line now for the stage.
Yes, there is a bit of a technical run in, and the final run to the line as well is only 160 metres, so that'll be very important who goes into that final corner leading, because it's a one where if you get the line into it in first position, it's going to be difficult for anybody to overtake you in the run to the line. So they'll be made aware of all that, but again, I don't think anybody is going to take major risks here. The two main men here in front, they know that they're in a real strong position to go all the way. Unless Roglic takes a bit more risk with Evenepoel, because he is the one that do not like those descents. But
Will, paso yung auto will kung bag yun. May battery ko. Labas mo yun. Yung sunod, battery. Yung ito ready na yun. Ito na yun.
Sitting on now. I thought a little bit of time back. Just look at these roads. It's nervous just watching. Again, Pogačar's not coming through now. Evenepoel's the one putting the pressure on. He wants to stay in second place here.
Well, that's an interesting one. Maybe Roglic went a bit wide down one of the corners, and that's why we have Remco leading here. But with the wet dry, the riders are going to be very careful here, and they're going to have to knock off their speed. We see the two leaders coming in this corner. Yeah, they were really playing it safe, as we can see. The other two chasers doing the same.
1 kilometre to go to the finish, and there's an issue for Roglic. An issue for Roglic behind. A crash that is going to cost him some time. We'll try and look back and have a look, but late drama. Very late drama indeed. As it's Vingegaard and Pogačar up the front. We just saw an image there of Primož Roglic hitting the deck, and we suggested it might be coming, Sean.
Well, we could see it was, really treacherous, wet conditions and that, but I was expecting, and looking at them going down there, they didn't seem to be really pushing at the limits at all, but Roglic seemed to, slide out on that corner there. That is going to be time loss for him.
Ayaw pa rin eh. Baka ito yung di ba na compatible sa ano eh. Meron akong TV dyan, TV remote, Changhong yun eh. Backup ko yun eh. Changhong ba yun eh. Ano ba bang control ito diba? Ito ano, wait. 506 eh, di ba yun eh?
A massive attack in central France has set the GC riders to the top of the charts. Will it be Vingegaard? Will it be Pogačar with today's number one? It's Vingegaard at the front. Pogačar waits. Stalks his prey. Ever so closer. And we know he has the key. We know he has the speed. Now he goes. Tadej Pogačar trying to get into slipstream. Vingegaard's hanging on. He's going to have to give it a second go here. Pogačar trying to come around. Vingegaard's holding it. It needs another effort. Vingegaard, so good. Vingegaard to the line, and look at that. What a story that is. Finally, Pogacar is beaten in a two-up sprint, and Jonas Vingegaard is very much present and correct at this tour. In the fight, takes the stage. It's a miraculous comeback from where he was, and it's game on at this Tour de France. Remco Evenepoel limiting the damage. He's still up there, still on the podium, but the damage to Primož Roglič behind, we are yet to see. Crashing away from the gaze of the cameras, and he is shipping much more time than it looks as though he will do anyway. Battered, bruised, this man is a hero, and he just needs to stay on his bike. There'll be drama today. And it's come right at the end as well. Roglic shipping almost a minute. But despite trying, repeated acceleration, Sean Kelly, Jonas Vingegaard has defeated Tadej Pogacar, has won the stage. And if you look at the balance of the bonus seconds, he's the man that's taken one on the day after all of that UAE effort.
What a turnaround that was. I think for UAE and Pogacar, it's going to be a disappointing day after all the work they put in. But Jonas Vingegaard, what a fight, what a comeback there in the final. And seizing that yellow jersey in the sprint.
And here's Julio Ciccone, who stands to gain and move up towards the top 10 in the general classification. He's looking like the strongest of the chasing group. The UAE dream team trying to keep as many men up there as possible. Carlos Rodriguez is going to lose his second or two towards the end. Mikel Landa is in this group as well. It's not been the worst of days for Soudal Quick-Step. It has been a very late disappointment for Red Bull, Bora Hansgrohe. But Visma Lease Bike have their victory. Jonas Vingegaard is here. We had a long time. Wouldn't even turn up here. He has turned up. He's getting better. He's beaten Pogacar at his own game. And this Tour de France is a gift that continues to give. This Tour de France will be fought for fiercely all the way to Nice.
So in the course of harvesting, so what you do, and here is our farm fresh ingredients with linguine pasta, tomatoes, basil, garlic and chili.
Again. Pogacar did everything he had to do here.
Well, he did it perfectly. He just sat on the man here leading out the sprint, Vingegaard, and it looked like to me, we got to this final 50 meters before the line, you could see he was getting the big legs and not able to get over him, and yeah, that is a big fun up for the books. I was expecting, the yellow jersey to win this sprint because Pat Records proved that he's, the faster one, more explosive, but at the end of the day, a difficult day, it's all about what they got left in the tank.
Wow, half a wheel. 211 kilometres, 4,300 metres flying. Photo finish between the top two. His Derek had to limit all of his losses, timing yet to follow behind. Javier almost following as well. Taking everything out of everyone. Well, it's won that victory today. This Melissa bike celebration before the match even kicks off. It's their David superstar that's gone. Let's have a look at what happened behind the Roglic team. Actually stand away. Roglic just loses it in that corner. Lost time with it. Learn your wholeness in your battle. Vingegaard victorious. Pogacar in second. Evenepoel third. Roglic with a leg for Hanuta. He's all made it.
disappointment for UAE today. Let's check on what happened in terms of classification. Warner Senior becomes the first rider ever to beat Tadej Pogačar in a two-up sprint. Renko Evenepoel finishes third. Primož Roglic crashes at some half a minute because of that crash. He's cornered the best of the rest. It's Vingegaard down. The line here in their different draft, and they will be coming through for some time to come. At the end of that stage, the stage which started with back in between the GC contenders the breakaways going away. They thought he never got near the 2.5 away. The team that were very front gap down, but in the end, it is Team Victor Liseberg who would have to save many. Jonas Vingegaard looking stronger than I think many believed him to be. Down to another brutal stage. Ultimately, it was Jonas Vingegaard that won. But what was it like from a team perspective? You always had a big plan.
And then I really keep push hard on this super fun. I do the plan. But yeah, it was really hard. The training was really warm as well, so it was harder in the office part one. Yeah, there's nothing else I can say.
Was it planned from the beginning of the day to let us breakaway go because you seem to control it? But that is always trying to get time to the breakaway.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted to go to the stage. Also, the game is second round 24, so we wanted to keep it close. And actually, the perfect job everyone was amazing. Whether it was spectacular race to control the breakaway, every guy. Yeah, it was incredible. It was really good at first. And there was the perfect teamwork. We are part of the process.
What about your own physical condition? You feel good about your own field?
Absolutely, I wasn't feeling good. But it's normal, you're not going to push it every day. I don't think I feel good enough to help the guys.
Thank you very much, Jack. First attack. Under 1 kilometre to the top, the Bumari, back to the hole. Really lift up. You're the only one to really respond. Wow. However, still very hard to pull away. Incredibly hard to close that gap behind him. Eight for Pogačar, 5 for Vingegaard, and then 6 the other way round at the finish line. So in the end, a net gain of 1 second for the defending champion.
I can see around the staff members the delight after such a hard comeback from that crash in the back country for Jonas Vingegaard. A stage victory in the Tour de France.
Yeah, I'm so happy for him. You know, this is really, have you said it anywhere? You don't say something? It's really, so happy for him. You know, I was already really proud and really happy for him that he was able to compete. At the start of the Tour de France. He's even winning stage.
Do you realise this is the first time that Tadej Pogačar has been beaten in a short sprint on the Tour de France stage?
I didn't know that, but yeah. This is a real sprint out there. I don't know. It was a little bit up the road.
I would not be doing this one as well, so it's a very difficult one. So, yeah, and after this stage, everybody is good, so it's a different sprint.
A very complicated day. It was mentally, physically very hard, very demanding with the parkour, the climbs as well. UAE goes all day, it was favoured into the Yonesis hand.
This is the way Pogacar can win as well. I mean, this is the best rider of the world, especially on these parcourses. And yeah, he showed it there. He was 30 seconds ahead. So yeah, I know it's a logical way of racing, I think. And we actually tried to follow. And ultimately, Jonas came back and legend than I thought.
Bigger legend than I thought. Description of the man who's just gone on. All of a sudden it's an attack from Vingegaard's perspective. He only had Primoz Roglic with him at this stage on the pre-made side of the hill, but he then pulled away from the other Slovenian to get over in second place on that first category climb. Descended well enough. Roglic, as you would expect, managed to reach back over on the descent. Good work to actually bring himself back in. There's no doubt about it, this is going to be a very hard day for Tadej Pogacar to take. There was a moment last year on the Tour where he put in similar attacks on similar style stages and didn't manage to get the seconds that he'd assumed he would. Yeah, from the stage winner first.
How sweet, how emotional is this victory?
Yeah, it's of course very, very emotional for me. Yeah, sorry. Coming back from the crash. Sorry. No, it's yeah.
It means a lot.
It means a lot, and all the things I went through in the last 2 months. Yeah, it makes you think of that, and yeah, I would never have been able to do this without my family.
You must be a very proud man, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy to be here, and yeah, it means so much to win a stage, especially to win it for my family. Yeah, they were there supporting me the whole time.
Talk to us about that attack from today. You responded in your style, you came back and you made the difference.
Yeah, I couldn't follow the attack he had. It was a very, very strong attack, and I just had to fight, and actually I didn't think that I would be able to make it back, but I just kept fighting, and yeah, I made it back and started relaying with him, and yeah, a bit surprised I could beat him in the sprint, but of course, yeah, it means so much to me. I'm so happy about the victory today. It's really, I would never have thought this 3 months ago.
Do you believe that you won a psychological battle today against Tadej?
I didn't even think about that. I was just only thinking about doing my own pace, and yeah, then later on doing the sprint.
Thank you. Enjoy the podium.
Thank you.
Well, a very, very emotional Jonas Vingegaard. That's the change. Vingegaard went back a second.
Silverstone circuit. British summertime at its finest for this round 4 of the Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup. Qualifying was held in perfect conditions, would you believe it? A wet track at the beginning, and then it started to dry. The cars finished on slicks, and it was an exciting session for the 29 drivers. We've got 7 guest drivers, mainly coming from the Porsche Carrera Cup GP Championship. The best of those, Gus Burton up in 14th, but look out for Angus Whiteside, James Wallace, Joshua Stanton, George Gamble, who's second in that GB Championship at the moment, Oliver Jackson and Michael Kreese. As we head into the top 15, Jaap van Lagen, very quick earlier on in the weekend, couldn't get it done in qualifying. Keegan Masters qualified well a week ago in Austria. He's inside the top 10 ahead of Liram Zengeli, who had a real challenging race, if you remember. Cas Havercourt in 8th is leading the rookie standings, a former F4 champion. And then if we get to the sharp end, it's an all-Schumacher CLRT front row. Third pole position of the season. Last time out, just a week ago, lines up alongside him. If you're looking at the comfort of Harry King, the lead VWT Leckner racing car lines up in 4th. 2020 GB champion on home soil, desperate to deliver in front of the British fans. Will we have any green flag racing? Is the question mark. Will he be able to move forward and break the deadlock? Because just ahead of him is another Schumacher CLRT machine, and that's the Porsche Junior of Alessandro Guidetti. Third place. You can see there, top 3 black machines, then the 2 BWT. And then you have
Hindi, walang tao eh.
Ariel Levy,
Sa susunod din, bigat mo lang.
in 2022.
Ano ko lang kinakalikot yung Oliver. Sige ko lang.
Champion in 2023. He's got real pedigree there on the outskirts of the top 6. Well, as you can see, as the field makes its way around this sort of village loop, if you like, the water on track is quite something. It is very wet here at Silverstone. It is waterlogged, and I can't see much in the way of any green flag racing at this stage.
Very happy with the result. To be honest, it was quite a tricky conditioning in the qualifying. In the beginning it started to rain. I got already a flashback from 2 or 3 years ago, where the rain could continue, but then after the first stint, the track went drier. In the end I had a really good lap. My first lap I made in